think we're straight. Joey,
right.
round 2. How we doing?
Good, you?
Doing good. How was Puerto Rico?
It was good, dude. We did a lot, like a combination of like going to the beach, exploring Old San Juan. I don't know if you know that, but
I don't know anything about Puerto Rico.
it's so my friend actually, he's in my PC pledge class. He actually lives in Puerto Rico, and his family was like in the transition period of moving, and
Permanently to Puerto Rico? Or
no, like so they had one house in Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
and they were just moving to another house, like
Okay.
pretty close by, but like I don't know, maybe like a 20-minute drive or something, and basically they just bought that house, and so we were able to stay in it like before they fully moved in.
Fresh new house.
Yeah, so basically we just got to live in Puerto Rico for free for a week, which was really nice. But they live in San Juan, and that's usually like the most
Is that the main
touristy.
city? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the main city necessarily, but that's where everyone goes if they visit. And just an area in San Juan is Old San Juan. I don't necessarily know why they call it Old San Juan. It's just like part of its history. And there's like a military base there, or a fort.
Like a historical one? Like a
Yeah,
touristy
yeah.
thing?
Like, I don't know. It was from when I think the Spanish were occupying Puerto Rico, or was it? Dude, shoot. It was either the British or the Spanish.
Yeah, it's probably the Spanish down
Yeah,
there, right?
I think
The
I
British.
Say it was the Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Because was that where like was it Mayan Empire or whatever the Incas were? Or was that down south more?
Aztecs. They were in Mexico, though.
Aztecs were in Mexico. Okay. Puerto Rico's probably around close enough, right?
Yeah, I want to say it was the Spanish, and then
Yeah.
like the British tried to attack it at one point,
Oh, really?
and then like failed, because just like the location of it basically made it so that it was like impenetrable. It's like really hard. I don't know. They had
Puerto
a bunch
Rico's
of
an island,
cannons.
right?
Huh?
Puerto Rico's an island, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It was like right
Yeah.
next to water, really
Yeah.
high up, like basically the hardest it can get to.
Yeah. It's interesting. What era was this? Probably like 1600s, you think, or?
I think it was more recent than that. Like,
Really?
I don't know. It's like in between, like over time, like in between 1700s and 1900s, I want to say.
Yeah.
Like,
that's pretty recent, dude.
Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
And America's
'Cause
like fully founded and
when-
everything in that.
yeah,
point.
do you guys remember when America got like full control of Puerto Rico? I want to say it was close to 1900.
It was low-key pretty recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did World War II end?
It was after the Spanish-American War, which was
Okay.
like 1901, 1901.
Yeah, okay, that sounds right.
What was the Spanish-American War?
Um,
Yeah, what do you know?
shoot, bro,
Okay.
I'm not good with history.
The United States.
Okay, that
Yeah.
sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, the United States gained control of Puerto Rico. The Treaty of Paris signed on December 10th, 1898. That's
Yeah.
pretty recent. It's more recent than I thought.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, America's getting all these like random territories all around. And, it's interesting.
But they got the Philippines, too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, technically the Wait, is it Philippines an American territory?
Not anymore.
Okay, it was.
Yeah.
Wow, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
The first time Puerto Rico?
Yeah, it was. Also, I mean, I've been to like Canada, but like first time like traveling overseas, I guess you could
Wow.
say. So like it was a good experience, and I'm really glad I did it.
That's interesting because it's technically a territory, right? So how similar is it? Is it pretty similar?
I mean, I would say it's very similar, just besides like the language. Like everyone speaks Spanish there. I think like the majority of people actually know English too, but just naturally everyone speaks Spanish. So,
That's interesting.
yeah.
Do you know like the relationship between like territories and states? Like, is there different rules for like citizenship for them? Like, can you be a citizen living in the territory?
That's a good
permanently?
question. I'm not really
You're not
sure, to
sure,
be
yeah.
honest with you.
'Cause I honestly don't know anything about these territories, dude, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I want to say it doesn't necessarily work any differently, but
The main difference,
I'm not completely sure.
The main difference between the U.S. state and the U.S. territory is that states share sovereignty with the federal government, while I read terrorists for a second. Territories do not. So I guess they're like just completely separate, right? Like they're overseen, but like when this is they don't have their own sovereignty.
They don't have
Like-
their own government. I don't.
Okay, so they're still under the U.S. government. So are they required to speak English then, or what?
I know it's taught. I don't know about like required necessarily.
Yeah, because I feel like in America they try to at least enforce to a degree some proficiency in English, at least if you're living here, depending on the visa type you have.
Yeah, I would assume.
But that's really interesting, man.
Yeah,
dude. So you've been in Canada before, to Puerto Rico, first time out of the country, really?
I guess so.
Wow, that's sick, dude.
Yeah, I don't know if you can count Canada though.
Canada counts.
It's so close to Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it counts, but like.
Where'd you go? Like just nearby, like Windsor and stuff, or did you go far deep too? Or
just to Toronto.
Oh,
like,
nice.
Not too far. I forgot what we went for, but it was just a small trip when I was young, so I don't remember much, to be honest. I also saw Niagara Falls, but.
Niagara Falls, cool.
Yeah.
Did you go on the Canada side or U.S. side?
I've been on both.
Oh, nice.
But,
Which one's better? It's too
I'm
far back.
trying to remember, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I went when I was really little. Like, we live in Jersey, so it's about like a 5-6 hour drive to Niagara Falls. So we went there like once or twice when I was younger, and then my cousins visited once from India, so we took them up too.
Nice.
But it was cool. It's a lot of fucking waterfalls.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. How recent was that for you?
Dude, I was little, man.
Okay.
It might have been elementary school.
Would you not remember either?
I actually have like some memories. Like I feel like some memories just stick in your head. Like from like I feel like Niagara Falls, I can like picture some.
I think I can too, just not the comparison. Like I can't tell.
Yeah, there's like subtle things that just stay. It's weird.
Yeah.
But like I remember that there's like this bridge right by the waterfall as a viewing deck that they take down every year because I think the weather conditions either in the winter or the summer get really bad where I think there's either too much water flow or maybe it's when it freezes in the winter they have to take it apart and put it back together again every season, which like when I learned that was pretty crazy, but it's pretty huge, man.
What is the bridge made of? Like how?
It's just wood. Yeah, it's not a crazy bridge, but it's like a viewing platform kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Niagara Falls is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, is it Niagara Falls where like people have like you know how people would like get in barrels and like go down waterfalls?
What?
Dude,
is that a thing?
I swear I've heard something.
Find that?
I swear I've heard something where like people would like put themselves in barrels and like go down waterfalls.
Bro, try to find like YouTube
that's
video.
like Niagara Falls.
Dude, I can't. That's probably some TikTok you saw, bro.
Dude, no. I've heard it like a really long. Hey, look at that.
Is it
bro.
actually Niagara?
Look at that.
Bobby Leach. They got video from back then, 1911.
Okay,
they got a photo of him.
Maybe not a lot of people, but I guess it's been done before, maybe.
That's so dangerous, dude. How do you not break your neck or something?
Well, I don't really know what the point of it would have been, but.
I mean, you can't really see anything. I mean, I guess you put like a little window, right?
Yeah. I don't know what the point of that would be.
The 5 biggest idiots. What was the article saying? The 5 biggest idiots ever to go over Niagara Falls.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Wait, can you go back to the all? What was the Wikipedia saying? Or the AI? The most notable daredevil to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel was Bobby Leach, a circus performer who did so on July 25th. That's my birthday. 1911.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No shot.
Surviving the plunge with some other injuries. Wow. So basically a lot of people have done it.
Maybe. I mean, I guess.
That's really cool. I mean, bro, there's something just in human nature that just wants to do just fancy shit so that some guy 100 years later can just like read about him online. Bobby Leach. His legacy lives on.
Yeah, I wonder what goes through your head when you decide to do that.
It's just part of human nature, I guess. Like, I feel like we do things as well in our day-to-day life.
That's true. I mean, I don't know to that extent, but like...
Definitely.
I don't know.
But I guess you look at history and you see all like the crazy shit that people have done. It's like some of it's unexplainable, but I feel like in some degree we all kind of want power or glory.
True.
And I guess some people more than others, but
it's definitely one way to make people remember you.
Yeah, I guess. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I don't know how I heard about that, but
it's such a random
for some reason
fact.
it was just in my mind. Yeah,
that's cool shit. It's a cool thing to learn. So
yeah.
Do you enjoy traveling? Like, it's like your first time you really done it? So.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I definitely enjoy traveling. Like, I like exploring and seeing new places, but obviously I just haven't really done it a whole lot. So I don't know for sure, but it's definitely on my bucket list to travel and go to some different places. What about you?
Yeah, I enjoy traveling too. I mean, there's something I enjoy about being at home and like doing my thing. Like, I feel like life on the hill is a lot of fun because you gotta do podcasting and powerlifting and meet your friends in the dining hall, and it's like the really fun lifestyle here. But I do think that sometimes breaking it up and like going on adventures and stuff is fun. Yeah. You know, like I've enjoyed traveling just to like take a break from all the routine stuff and just like go and see things. Like I always like an adventure, you know, like more than just like seeing things. I like adventuring more. So I always prefer like road trips or you know, any form of adventure. And I was even thinking about this summer, like I don't know, maybe like get some guys together, go on some like small road trip around the U.S. or something, because there's something about the adventure that's always fulfilled me. And I guess like the more I think about it, like everything I do in my life is kind of adventure in a way. Like I think the podcast is like slowly growing with time, where it's like from the beginning to like now, where everything's kind of all more professional and everything. So I feel like there's something in me that enjoys adventure and kind of starting from somewhere and ending up somewhere. Like that to me has been really exciting.
Yeah. Would you consider like visiting like national parks?
I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you
That's
got
something. I mean, not really, but that's something that I really want to do for sure.
They're fun, man. I mean, they're so well preserved. I think that's one of the cool things about America is that they've really preserved a lot of their nature and make it very accessible with the trails they built. Because I think a lot of other countries, like when we go to India, they don't preserve it as well over there. So it's like hard to like find trails and stuff. It's not as accessible. But I think that's something very special about the U.S. Like they put a lot of effort into it.
Have you been to a couple?
I've been to a couple, yeah.
Okay. Which ones?
2 or 3 when I was younger that I don't remember too well, but Grand Canyon and some like Death Valley out west.
Okay.
We went to all the ones local to me, so up in Acadia,
Yeah.
in Maine, and then Shenandoah, and we just went to Great Smoky Mountains last year. So
Oh, nice,
we did a couple.
dude. Okay, I've been in the Smokies.
They're nice.
Yeah, my parents got married in the Grand Canyon, so
Wow.
yeah, that was cool. But yeah, my family loves the Smokies. We go there like every year to hike.
Oh, that's
but,
nice.
Yeah.
You remember any of the hikes you did?
Yeah.
There's like that one main one, right? What was it called?
I don't know. I actually don't know if there's like a main, or maybe there is a main one, but I just wouldn't know. But the one I like doing the most, it's called Chimney Tops.
Chimney Tops.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So it's basically like 2 miles like straight up. Like it's a bunch of pretty much just like kind of stairs, like basically rocks that you just like step up for like 2 miles. And then at the top there's like a chimney, and you can like climb up it, and it's like a really cool view. But that's definitely my favorite one.
I don't think we did that one.
No.
Nah.
It might be less popular now because the fires. I don't know when that happened, but sometime in between when I was like a little kid and now, there was a forest fire, and like half of the chimney just like fell off. So
Wow.
It's like a lot more dangerous now.
Yeah.
Doesn't really stop my family though. We still go like past the end of the trail and go up.
So your family's adventurous too?
I would say definitely. Like, I don't know, like my mom and dad won't climb it much, but like my brother will still go to the very top, and I'll go like most of the way. I would say I'm a little afraid of heights, so
really?
like yeah, that part of it is a little scary for me, but like it's still regardless like really good experience and really fun to do.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
We did one where it's like you I think it's called Bluffs, the Mary's Bluffs or something.
Really? Okay,
You
I've
remember
never
that?
done that
It's
one.
one has like a crazy overhang. Honestly, pull up a picture of that. It's called like the Bluff Trail. It was really cool. And actually, like, we went in over Thanksgiving break, so it was pretty cold.
Oh yeah.
But once you start hiking, you don't feel cold anymore.
Mhm.
But
yeah.
we were only gonna do like half. Search up like Smoky's Bluff Trail. Because the thing is like the whole thing was like 11 miles. This is Alum Cave Bluffs. If you go to
Oh, wait,
you did this one?
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah. We love that.
This is the main one.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, bro.
I was just there, man.
Dude.
That was so beautiful.
My family loves that hike, and the last time we went, it was like frozen over completely.
Same.
Dude. It was hard, but it was so fun, bro. Just
Did
like,
you do the whole
you
thing,
know,
like 11 miles?
Yeah,
We didn't get to do it.
really, dude. At the top, there's like a, I don't know, like a little village area.
We might go
It's
back.
so cool.
We might go back.
Yeah.
Because, we did the first half of it just because, like, I go with my whole family. So my mom and sister don't enjoy hiking as much as me and my dad do. So we still try to bring them and convince them by doing, like, smaller, like, within 5 mile hikes. So,
Yeah.
so everyone can at least enjoy it without, like, just getting all exhausted and dying. But me and my dad usually go on longer ones. But this was a really popular one, so we want to take them on it too. So we just did the half of it. But it was really icy conditions. And I kid you not, there's like that one last stretch. I don't know if you remember where you're holding the rope on the side.
Yeah.
And then we crossed like the first rope part, the second rope part. It was very slippery the whole way through. Right? It's probably slippery for you too.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember when
it was
you went.
definitely dangerous.
Yeah.
We had to wear like, I don't know. This is very like, I don't know. We had to wear spikes.
We didn't wear spikes.
Yeah. So like we were a little more prepared for sure.
Yeah.
But like even then, like, I don't know, the spikes weren't like great, I guess I would say. So like we were slipping for sure, but it was definitely dangerous. Like, and especially if you don't have spikes, I'd imagine like.
Yeah, it was slippery, man. There was like one part where it was very narrow, and the whole thing was frozen. So we're on our knees crawling. And we're sliding. My sister was freaking out. She's like, I'm not going anymore, Hendrik. We're trying to like bring her on. Like, I'm holding her hand, trying to get her through.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, to the or I don't know if it's to the left. I think it's to the left, but like you have the rope on the right, and then to the left it's just a drop.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy.
So like
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So we got to that rope part, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was like, "We're not going any further. It's too icy." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "I know we're almost there." Like I checked how long the trail was. Like I'm telling you, we're almost there. But he was like, "It's that one stretch is very icy. Like it's just pure ice." So you didn't want to risk it. So like the little area, the viewpoint where you kind of come around and there's just rocks in the viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad and my sister went back and waited. I convinced my mom to go. And then
Okay.
literally 2 meters down was like the bluff,
Oh
and
my
we got to enjoy it.
gosh.
But I'm just like pissed off, and I tried to get my dad to come back too, but he's like he's not doing it. So
Yeah.
but it was beautiful. It was definitely worth it. Like that view was insane.
No, it's super nice. But
Yeah.
also, yeah, I understand not wanting to go further because, like, it is definitely dangerous if you don't have, like, gear or anything like that. So,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, I like Shenandoah a lot too. I don't know if you've been to Shenandoah, but
Mm-mm.
there's some beautiful hikes there, man. Back in the Smokies, we don't really plan that much. Like we kind of just pick a national park, we pull up and just figure out what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And when we drove through like Pigeon Forge on the first day, we're like, where the fuck are we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like that was insane, bro. Like they
Yeah.
were all. It was like I was in like LA or something with all those. What are these even called? Like all those amusement kind of things. And
Yeah.
then Gallenberg, that was crazy.
Yeah. I know, like, well, they probably have them all over the place, but, like, one thing that I remember about Tennessee, and I don't know if it's Pigeon Forge or not, but, like, I always remember, like, the upside down, like, house museum kind of thing.
The pyramid looking thing, right?
Yeah.
That one like caught my attention. Like, what the fuck is
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, I always look at that. I'm like, whoa. But yeah, my family goes to Tennessee a lot, partly for the hiking, and then the other thing is my brother and I played travel baseball a lot, and there's like a ton of baseball tournaments in Tennessee.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, we would always end up there for
That's cool.
the summer.
Hey, travel legit.
Huh?
That's pretty legit.
Oh,
Travel
yeah.
around the country.
Huh?
Travel around the country.
A little bit, like.
You're from
I'd say-
Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, for me at least, we never really traveled past like the right side of the country, I would say. And we never went like too far away. Like most of the baseball tournaments that I would go to were like Indiana, Tennessee, and then like a lot of baseball players will know like Georgia. There's like WWBA it's called, or
Yeah, a lot of big teams, right?
yeah, like there's another one in Lake Point that's like really famous.
There's a lot of big D3 schools up northeast too. For
Yeah.
baseball, like
Yeah.
Haverford, Carleton, and all
Mhm.
those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, but my brother's team, like when I was little, his team would go like all over the place. So it was fun, like being that little brother that was able to come on those trips and just like have fun with all the other little brothers. Like
Yeah.
that's what I used to do.
You're the
And
oldest,
then-
right?
What?
You're the oldest, or?
No. So I'm the little brother.
Oh, you're the little brother.
Yeah. So I was the little brother that was like playing around while my
Yeah.
big brother was playing baseball.
Yeah.
Um,
You kind of look up to him.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I love my brother so much.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's just two of you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And then you said you have a sister, right?
I have a sister, yeah.
Yeah,
Younger
yeah.
sister. She's like
Younger?
freshman in high school.
Okay.
Yeah. What's it like being younger, man?
I would say it's definitely easier. Like it's nice for sure. Like especially when the older sibling is like good to you, I would say. I mean I'm not gonna say anything about how you are to your little sister. Hopefully you're not too mean.
Hopefully.
But yeah, my brother's always been like really good to me. I
That's
mean
good.
we definitely used to have our arguments and fights when we were younger, but like I feel like once I started to mature, that's when things started to turn around and
What-
we're
what
really
year was
close
that?
now. I want to say like maybe like middle school, start of high school, like late middle school, start of high school. I don't know. Do you and your little sister fight at all?
We've like never fought.
That's good.
I can't remember a single time. Actually, my mom was telling us like, "What did we do wrong? Like, you guys never fight." Like,
What did we do wrong?
As in the more of a joking way. 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
My dad, he had two brothers. They would always fight. They were all over each other. Like some of their stories are fucking insane. Like they would like one time like they tricked their younger brother into like going outside without any clothes on. Then like locked the door on him. And
Oh
then he
my
was like stuck
gosh.
outside with no clothes on for like a while.
Oh,
and they lived in like
no.
some village in India growing up. Like, it was
Oh, gosh.
they fuck with each other a lot, bro. It was insane. And then my sister, my mom and her sister were always fighting, and they're looking at us like we've never fought a day in our life. It's like, what happened here? But I feel like it's normal. Like every sibling is like, I mean, a lot of my friends have close siblings, but I feel like they always grew up with all those fights and stuff. I just never related to that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's also like a brother thing. I don't know.
Maybe.
Like I still feel like brothers and sisters do still fight kind of. Like
They
my
definitely
best friend had a
yeah.
sister, and I know they would definitely fight a bit. But I don't know. I mean, it's not like not fighting is a bad thing. Definitely not, at least.
It's more rare, that's for sure. Because
Yeah.
like my cousin, they live in India, and then they have my uncle is like a daughter and a son, and they're kind of like me and my sister, but with opposite. So like the daughter is older, and like my cousin who's a female is older, and then my cousin brother is younger.
Yeah.
And they fight all the time. But
Yeah.
I guess for us, like it always, I don't know, I always like felt like I had to be mature just because of her, I guess. So
Yeah.
I guess having her as a younger sister always made me make sure I look mature.
Do you feel like it's kind of like you wanting to set a good example kind of
I think
thing?
so.
Or
Yeah.
okay.
I think luckily with her, she helped me be more mature, and I always want
Yeah.
to set a good example.
Is that like because, I mean, obviously partly because, you care for her. Is it like is it because you also want to like protect her, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like I felt it's my responsibility to be good.
Say that again?
I felt like it's my responsibility, and I guess that just clicked early on.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people learn that, but I guess like that's one of the things that kind of clicked for me, that like I want to make sure she's okay and does well, and I feel like it's my responsibility. To
Yeah,
make
that's
sure
a good
she does
thing
well.
for sure.
But
Are you guys like really close?
we're pretty close. Yeah.
That's
I think
good.
now that she's gone into high school, now we can relate with each other a lot more, because like I guess we go through that stage where we're really young, and then we're both really close, and then like I get a little bit older, and then I have to wait till she gets a little bit older, and then we're both mature
yeah.
and then adults. So it's like I feel like right now in the last year or two that's happened, but
Yeah.
it's been interesting.
I think like my brother and I, it worked out pretty well where like maybe for a time it would be that kind of dynamic where he would kind of grow older and get to know, I don't know, get interest in other things than me, and then I would follow a little bit. But like we're 3 years apart. He's a senior. Like for the most part, I feel like we've always had like similar interests, which has really helped us like bond, I guess you could say. Do you feel like, I don't know, because I wouldn't know for brother and sister, like do you guys have a lot of different interests because of that? Or like do you feel like you also do share like a decent amount of interest with your sister?
I think we do share a lot of interests. Obviously, I always wondered what it'd be like to have a brother, or even like a twin brother. I've always like thought about that, because I thought it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I've always thought about like if I had a sister.
Yeah, it's like different. I still think that we do have like the gender differences, but it's almost like we kind of know what's different about each other, but we still have like the same kind of interests. We kind of understand each other pretty well, so it's never been like a problem.
Okay, that's nice.
But I don't know. It's interesting with the brother dynamic, because I feel like there's some kind of camaraderie in that, and like pushing each other to do well, that I think is so unique in brotherhood relationships.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it brings you closer, at least with the friends I've talked to before. So that's really cool to me.
I mean, I definitely think like I wouldn't be here today like if my brother wasn't like successful before me. Like I always tried, not necessarily to like live up to him, but like it's like a good like because I look up to him, I also want to be successful, and like his, I don't know, work ethic and like things like that definitely passed on to me, and like I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of here today because of him to some extent. So
That's nice.
I'm very thankful for him.
That's
He's
amazing.
also like, it's very helpful being the younger sibling because he has like helped me with things that he's gone through before. So that part of it, like I think makes being the younger sibling like easier to an extent, like I don't know, I'm sure you've given your little sister plenty of advice as well. So
Yeah, I feel like she goes through the same patterns I go through. It's like I see her going through the exact same phases I was in when I was younger, and I try to guide her a little bit, but I guess it's hard because like I guess I learned a lesson by fucking up.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like it's hard for me to help her out, because I feel like when you tell someone to do something, it's almost like they don't want to listen.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Like, well, like I guess it's hard for me to find that balance of like how could I give her good advice while also knowing that she has to kind of, I guess, learn these things for herself, because it's up to her if she wants to take it or not. There's only so much she can do. So
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's interesting that you portray like being the younger sibling in such a positive way, because I always kind of growing up, I'm always kind of glad I was an older sibling.
Really? Okay. I feel like it's the opposite for most people.
I guess whoever they are, as long as you're not a middle child, I guess older siblings have to be older and younger children have to be younger. But
yeah.
I guess for me, it's like my only thing. I feel like it's good to be a younger sibling for the reasons you said, because you kind of have someone ahead of you who you're close to, you can look up to and go to for advice. I just feel like for me, I'm always scared that being the younger sibling would be too constraining, because I guess as an older sibling, you go through life and you kind of have like, you look in front of you and it's all just like grayness and you have no idea what's coming next. But you're kind of following your intuition, making decisions, and through trial and error, you're learning.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you learn that this formula works, it's almost like the younger sibling, it just gets pushed onto them, you know? So I always thought that my life would be like more constrained if I was the younger sibling, and I feel like there's some freedom in being the older sibling. So that's always how I felt about it. Now, obviously, was that true for every case? Might not be, and I guess some people even prefer having someone kind of go through trials and tribulations before.
Yeah.
So I guess it's different, but I guess there's benefits to both. But I've always enjoyed having, I guess, the control. I guess some control is always something I wanted. So I don't feel like I'm filling in someone's shoes. I guess I kind of feel like I'm defining the path. But
yeah, no, that's a really good point. And I would say, like, to an extent, like, what you're describing has kind of happened to me, like, just in terms of like small things like sports or like what school I go to. I've pretty much always like followed my brother in that area, and like I guess like because of that I can't really say if I would have done the same thing had I not seen him do it first. Like I'm definitely interested in all of the things that I've chosen to do, but like it's possible that it could have been different had I not seen him do it beforehand.
Yeah.
And also like another thing I wanted to add is like, to an extent, I feel like being the older sibling also gives you, or like maybe sets you up better for your future, because like that way you have, like you said, gone through a lot of things on your own, like for the first time by yourself. And because of that, I feel like it would do a good job of giving you a lot of the important traits that you would need to succeed on your own without like, you know, the help of your parents and things like that. So
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious how I'll do like on my own. Like I'm not necessarily worried, but like I wonder if there will be things where like obstacles that I'll come across where like I just don't know what to do.
Well, I think an interesting part about being in your position is that sure, you don't go through as many trials and tribulations, but I feel like it's sometimes a waste of time to learn all the lessons that someone's already learned, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the lessons your brothers learned, it's kind of like your baseline, and then you're able to kind of go even beyond that because, you know, you're able to maybe skip some hurdles he's already passed and then even like tackle the bigger monsters down the road. So I guess like there's like a beauty to both, you know?
Yeah,
There's a
for
beauty
sure.
through the experience you gain. Like I guess the one person who goes to the gym and just like tries everything out and see what works, he's gonna learn a lot. But the other person who might take his 4 years of experience and like learn something in day one and then go in and do even more than that. So I guess there's a beauty to both.
Yeah.
And I guess the personality type to both.
Mhm.
But they can both work, and I think they can both lead to like amazing outcomes in life.
Yeah,
So
that's a really good way of thinking about that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting, man. Yeah. But I've always wondered what it would be like to have a brother. And I guess we'll never know until we have our own kids and then kind of look through them.
do you want kids?
Definitely. Yeah. Have you thought about it?
Oh yeah, I definitely want kids.
Is family a big thing in your life?
Oh yeah. No, I love my family so much. Like I talk to a lot of people, and like I'll have conversations with people sometimes, and we'll talk about like what do you want to do post graduation. And I think a common trait with people is like they want to move away for a little bit, like live in a city or something before they settle down. I feel like I don't really need that for me. Like I just want to live next to my family, like close to my family, like not right next, but like to a point where I could visit them, you know, like on a random weekend if I wanted to. Like I don't feel the need to like, I don't know, like live in the middle
Away
of a
from them,
city
right.
and just like experience a ton of things. I feel like with my family I kind of have all that I need. I don't know. I feel like I don't know if that's like normal or not, to be honest.
I think it's normal. 'Cause I think I'm the same way.
Yeah, you would say so.
It's odd because I feel like there's this I think this is an American culture really, of like individualism that I think growing up, I don't know where it gets ingrained in us, but that's the weird thing about culture, right? It kind of just all these factors, environment.
Yeah.
I think people kind of glorify this individualistic lifestyle, which I think is a very modern concept and a new concept because I don't think ever in our history has individualism being as promoted as it is today.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's not to say it's a bad thing because I guess people can find fulfillment through it, but I feel like to me it doesn't make much sense because, you know, first of all, living on your own, I think having the stability of family, even at some point in your life, even if you want to take a few years off by yourself and then later on get married, have kids, but I think a lot of people have decided that they don't even see family in like their image of life. That they kind of just portray just the individualistic lifestyle, and I mean, I feel like a lot of them down the road realize it was a wrong decision, then maybe go back and then try to do it a little bit later. But cause I feel like we've kind of found out, at least for the average people, like what makes us happy. I think having family makes us happy.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
everyone kind of realized that at some point or the other. And I'm on the same page. Like, I want to live near my family, either with them or around the same area, just because we can have everyone nearby. And try to bring all, like, cousins or whoever close by so we can all live in the same area, wherever that might be. But, you know, I definitely want to have a big family too, you know, get married early, hopefully, if I can find the one or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, you know, raise kids and big family.
Do you know how many, like, specifically?
I don't know. I mean, I've been all over the map. I remember, like, my mom asked me once when I was, like, 2 years younger, and I'm, like, 10 to 20, maybe.
Dang,
and then I'm, like, and then I've kind of come down, maybe, like, 5 to 10. We'll start with, like, 3 to 5, and then we'll go from there.
So, like, minimum 3.
Let's go with 5 for now, minimum.
5.
But
okay.
I feel like, obviously, there's, like, the financial burden of that and stuff, but I feel like I feel like me setting the goal now of, like, I want that will hopefully motivate me enough to work enough to be able to sustain that. So that I'm, like, already kind of set in my head that I'll need to make enough money to support that or be in some position. But even if I'm not, like, super rich, but I'm making, like, an okay amount of money, like, I still think having a family is more worth it for me than, like, holding on to the money by myself. Like,
yeah, 100%.
I just think that there's some beauty in having a lot of people around. And I'm curious about all the lives they can live and me living through them. So.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And, like, speaking towards the money part of that, I think a lot of people, especially, like, guys in our age range these days are, like, really obsessed with, like, being rich and, you know, making all this money. And, like, I would say to an extent it's definitely affected me too. Like, I've felt that way for sure. But if I ever, like, really reflect and think a lot, like, I think a lot of people would feel the same way, is, like, once I do have a family and kids, I feel like that's really not going to matter to me, like, at all. Like, I don't know. I think once I get to that point, it's going to be, like, my world is going to be my family, and then, like, the money's not going to be a big deal for me after that at all. So
I definitely agree. And I feel like it's hard for us to talk about it before we're in that position, because I guess I've just heard from so many people about, like, how their life is transformed when they have kids. You know, and I guess we don't really know what that feels like, but we can kind of picture it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't really realize how fulfilling that really is.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, neither do we, but I guess we'll see. But
yeah.
I just feel like, you know, I do think having money is important. You know, I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, money doesn't make you happy and all that bullshit, you know. I think having money is important, but maybe not to the extent to which people are talking about how they want to drop out, like, become super rich off of some, like, business. I mean, do what you need to, I guess. Try everything you need to, but I just feel like there's not only money the problem, but, like, this lifestyle inflation where they don't really care about the money, but they care about, like, making money online and then traveling the world and, like, all this stuff, which is cool and stuff, but I feel like just, I guess the most important thing is really having enough to sustain, like, I guess some lifestyle you want while also being able to have a family. I guess that's what's important to me. Like, having enough money to sustain the family, but not getting wrapped up in this mess of just money for the sake of money and just, like, more. Yeah. Like, I agree with you. At the end of the day, like, there's only a few fundamental things that matter, and I think family is one of them, but also just having, like, fulfilling things to do in your day-to-day life. Like, spending, I don't know if it's possible to make all the hours of your day what you love. For some people that might be possible, but at least, like, having enough stuff where, like, hopefully you enjoy your job to a degree. Yeah. And then, like, try to find fun stuff to do. Like, I feel like we do a great job with that here. Like, I look at your life. I don't know if you play club baseball here or not?
No, I mean, I kind of want to try out, though. I didn't first semester, actually, because it was conflicting with, like, rushing for the frat that I was rushing at. But I feel like, at the very least, I want to continue, like, playing in some men's league or, you know, something with it. Like, I do find it fun, so definitely continue with it.
Just having fun in life, like the engineering frat you join, I'm racing, going to the gym. I always run into there on the weekends.
Yeah, no, it's always good to try new things and just have a lot. I think it's a good thing to put, I don't know, to an extent, I guess, like, put your eggs in multiple baskets. Maybe it depends on what exactly those baskets are, but I don't know. I guess there's like a balance that you should have, at least in my opinion, and I don't know. Yeah. What do you think about that? Like,
eggs in the basket?
Yeah.
Dude, I've thought about this too much. I think I change based on the season of life I'm in.
Sure, yeah.
Sometimes there's, like, one thing I really care about.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm just sick of not seeing success in it, that I will put all my eggs in that basket for the time being.
Yeah.
But I am generally more happier when I have my eggs in, like, 20 baskets.
You think so?
I feel like I'm in that place right now where, like, one basket's the podcast. Like I put in like 8 to 10 hours a week into this, maybe more.
Yeah.
And podcast is one basket. I just started powerlifting, so I'm trying to compete. Hopefully, my numbers are not good enough yet, but I'm hoping by the summer.
You'll get there.
I'm hoping the summer I can hit 275 bench, 315 squat, and then deadlift something heavy.
Dang,
I don't know.
Dude. What are you
Hopefully.
at right now?
Bench, probably like 240, 245.
It's impressive.
I've not actually hit it, but relative to my working sets, that should be about where I'm at.
Nice.
I think it's this big calculator on this Excel sheet. Sorry.
Have you used those like 1 rep max calculators
Yeah,
online and
I
stuff?
actually just started this program that I bought my junior year of high school, but back when I was like weak as fuck. But now I'm like actually running it fully. So I'm on like this 5th week of it. It's a 12-week program, so that has all it's like a huge Excel sheet with calculators and everything. Maybe I'll show you at some point.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's like 4 days on every week, but my weeks are like 8 days long the way I did it.
Dang, okay.
But yeah, it's fun. And you gotta kind of just squat bench deadlift every time. So
that sounds pretty fun.
But back to the baskets. Podcasting, powerlifting, school. What else? And just like hang out with friends.
Yeah.
I guess that's 4 baskets. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
That all. Yeah, pretty much it.
Seems like a solid balance.
Yeah.
I would just say like maybe the reason I think that is because in high school, I was like very big into baseball and like that was kind of my life growing up. But I don't know if I ever had necessarily the passion to go and play at like a Division I level.
Did you ever consider it?
I 100% considered it. Yeah, like I was good. I don't know necessarily good enough to play like at a good Division I school like Michigan. I mean, even in baseball, Michigan's not amazing.
Yeah, we're still D1.
But they are D1. Like I don't know if I was good enough to play.
So you probably like the Michigan
like,
State.
Yeah.
Case Western.
But I was solid for sure, and like regardless of that though, like even though I didn't necessarily want it wasn't fully there for me, I think, especially starting in high school. But even though that was the case, I definitely put like all of my eggs into the baseball basket. I guess that in academics, but just kind of like looking back, like it was a good experience for me and like a good learning situation. But I think it would have been better if I would have tried different things, like I don't know, just got more involved a little bit in school and like tried different things. Would have been, I think, a better way of going about it. So
that's interesting. Yeah, so you were pretty set on baseball, but then you didn't end up ultimately going with it. So was there like doubt in pursuing it throughout high school, or was it like some pivotal point later on where the doubt started coming whether that's something you wanted to do?
I guess so. For me, where the doubt started would have been like late, like right before high school, or like maybe at the start of high school. But basically, I mean, growing up, I would do all of these like training programs and things like that outside of just like regular practice and things like
over the summer and stuff, or
like over the summer and just like in the off season, I guess. Like mainly the off season would be where I would put in like the most time. So like fall and winter mainly. But just at some point right around freshman year, it got to the point where I felt like it was more of like a job rather than like something I was doing to have fun. And when I was having a lot of fun, like purely fun with it, and then that's not to say that I didn't still have fun even after my freshman year, but like when it was purely for fun, I think that's when I enjoyed it the most. And like that's probably also even when I like showed the most talent and like did the best. But like just the way that it ended up being for me was like over time I think I just liked it less and less, and that was being reflected to an extent in my performance as well even, and I guess ultimately led to me not really wanting to like pursue it at the highest level possible. Like when I was little, I did have the dream, I think, of like actually going pro, but at some point that kind of changed for me, and because of that I was like, I don't really see the appeal in like playing at a high level in college because of that. Like, because I know it at a Division I school, it's a huge time commitment, and like I'm very like academically focused too, so I was like, I'd probably rather go to a school like Michigan who has good academics rather than go to some D2 or D3 school and that has like decent academics and play baseball. So I don't know. And like I can also still play club or, you know, do things that are less competitive with baseball. So like that's kind of my view on it. But I don't know. I respect it either way, whatever you end up doing. It's just that's what ended up working out for me, I guess, you know.
I feel like that's such a hard position to be in, man. Like you probably spend many late nights stressing about that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And especially like when the expectation is that you do end up like going to college
you
to
have
do
always
it.
like people around you, like your coaches and
Yeah.
your brother and your family, and they're like not expecting you to be like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is hard to do, but I would say what helped me is like I think my mom and brother especially knew how I felt about it. And my dad to an extent too, but like mainly my mom and my brother, and they helped me for sure like make that final decision of being like, okay, I'm not going to pursue competitive baseball in college. So, yeah.
How'd it feel to turn it down?
It definitely sucked. Like I don't know, like it kind of makes you feel guilty almost, like even thinking about it, cuz I don't know, like it's just something that you've done your whole life too, and it's also like the thought of not playing baseball was really foreign to me just because it's something I had done my entire life.
Probably since you were little, right?
Yeah, like I started playing when I was like 4 years old.
Is this like the first time you've gone this long without playing?
Yeah, for sure.
What's
I
that
mean,
feel
like,
like?
besides, like, 0 to 4, but, like, yeah, for sure.
Wow, 0 to 4 years old.
So, yeah, it's been a while. Like, for me, at least. Like, in reality, it's, I don't know, like, 4 or 5 months. But,
Well,
like, it feels like a really long time.
Do you feel like you're missing a limb or something? Like, does something not feel all right?
A little bit, yeah. But I still think, like, I don't have any regrets. Like, I think it was the right decision. It's just, like, taking a little bit of time to adjust for sure.
You good now?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you filled it with other stuff now? Because you've gotten involved in a lot of stuff around campus. Has it been fulfilling? Or do you still feel like you want to revisit baseball, like in club and stuff? Or are you done with it? Or
yeah, I think I would say everything that I've done since the start of the first semester has been pretty fulfilling for me, especially because instead of doing like a ton of sports, now I feel like I've kind of transitioned that into the gym a lot, and I think that's been really helpful for me because like one of my worries was like, well, I don't want to just, you know, stop exercising and
get fat.
Yeah, pretty much. So like just being in the gym has been really helpful for that. And also that's like another thing that I would think about when I was training for baseball is like, I mean, training for any sport is like very different than just like lifting in the gym. And I just remember sometimes I'd have to train in like a regular commercial gym for baseball, and I don't know, you know, you get these looks of like
That's
people,
embarrassing. You can do like these plyo jumps and shit. Like, what the fuck is
exactly.
That
And like, it's not necessarily that part of it, but I would see other people doing all of these like really fun lifts, like bench and just, you know, like deadlifts, things like that, and I would always be like jealous because I'd end up, you know, I'd be doing this weird like core exercise or something like that. Yeah. I mean, so I don't know, but
it's
I'm
interesting how
glad.
different training is for athletes. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, it is for sure. Like, I don't know. Did you play a lot of sports growing up?
I just I wish I played more. I think my parents tried to push it on me, but it wasn't really my thing growing up. I kind of wish it was now, but then it started in middle schools when I started to like realize they're kind of fun. So I'd play just like pickup basketball with friends, but
okay,
I always
nice.
like kind of sucked at the sports I played. Like
Dude,
I tried playing soccer for like 2 years. I kind of sucked at that. Then going to high school was like I kind of want to play some sports now. Like I don't want to just be the guy that does nothing. I wasn't even lifting at the time, right? I was pretty young, so.
Yeah.
Tried soccer, didn't go too well. I tried cross country, didn't go too well. It was kind of hard.
Dude, oh my gosh.
Cross-country.
My parents made me run cross country in like
Nah.
6th grade. And like even though it was like a mile long, I was like, nah, this is not it. So I ended up doing track actually. and
Track's cool.
That was a little bit better for me because I'm definitely like a sprinting kind of guy.
Yeah,
But yeah,
That's
cross
cool.
country's hard for sure.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
that didn't go too well. I started lifting sophomore year though.
Okay.
Freshman year, like sophomore year is when I really started getting into it, and that was fun immediately. And I started to get good at that, I guess, because like I guess my body was like 100 pounds at the time or something, 105
Slight.
pounds. So like I started getting pretty strong for my weight, and that's when it started to get fun. Like, oh, this I'm kind of good at this. I'm not good at other shit. So like I remember after every cross country practice, I'd be running right to the gym, and then I just lift after every time.
Nice.
And I started falling in love with that. And then that winter started wrestling, and then that I fell in love with that. And I really enjoyed wrestling. I don't think I had enough time to really develop and become a good wrestler. I sophomore year kind of missed most of the season. Junior year, I started taking it a little more seriously, but lost a lot of matches. But then I started getting a little bit more serious about it, so I started going to club in the off season.
Mm-hmm.
Senior year, I was better, but still pretty bad. But definitely made quite a bit of progress in the time I had, so I was happy with that. And I considering doing it again now, but not really getting into powerlifting. So I feel like those two things I got better at, like lifting and wrestling, have become my thing now. And most of the sports I've been kind of bad at, but that's kind of like my whole world of sports.
Yeah, nice. Okay. So then, like, for powerlifting, what specifically got you into, like, that as opposed to just, like, I don't know, like, I feel like most people are just interested in bodybuilding. But
Right. I've tried everything. I feel like if I look back at the last 4 years of me lifting, I've kind of always done what's fun, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've never been, like, super serious about it in terms of, I mean, I guess I have, but it's never felt like a chore from the first day I went.
Yeah.
Like, I've always found it fun. And I've tried all these different kind of things. I do like a bodybuilding split, then I'll do like a powerlifting split, then I'll do power building, then I'll do like lifting with a team for a season. So I've kind of tried everything. I've tried every exercise, tried everything. And they're all kind of fun. I've done bodybuilding too for like my own sake, just to get bigger. So I put on like 40 pounds of muscle, I think, in the last 4 years.
Dang,
But
dude.
it's
Good
like
for you. That's
slow progress, like 10 pounds a year maybe. So
Yeah.
100 pounds to like 140 now. So pretty good. But I feel like I realized coming here that I wanted to compete again in something. And I was thinking about my options. I could either do wrestling or I could do powerlifting, were my big two that I kind of determined on. And I just feel like I was better at powerlifting than wrestling, and I enjoyed both of them. So I think I'll start with powerlifting for now.
Sure.
Just because I think I put on a good amount of strength in fall term. So I thought let's like just keep going with that and see how strong I can really get. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I might go back to bodybuilding, whatever. I can't compete in bodybuilding for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's kind of just it's kind of the stage of life, I guess. And whatever's fun, we just kind of keep rolling with it. But
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, how much do you weigh right now?
Like 136.8 probably.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if you're 136, 137 and benching like 240, that's really good.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's
some of those
super
guys,
impressive.
man, are crazy. Like when you start looking at the people who are competing, it's like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's insane. I don't know. I mean, powerlifting seems really cool for sure, but like just the way that I'm built right now, like I would need to like cut a lot and then
Yeah.
also increase my strength a lot for sure.
How much you weigh if you don't mind?
Like 160. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Are you so when you've been lifting? I'm sure like through high school, you probably mainly focused on baseball lifts, right? Did you do any like other bodybuilding stuff or no?
I would like every once in a while, but like it would be definitely mainly baseball lifts and things like that. So like it definitely translated to an extent, but like I would say mainly for my legs. Like my bench is just I mean bench isn't terrible, but it's not good. Like
alright.
especially for my weight.
Yeah.
Considering like how much I have lifted. But yeah, I don't know.
It's alright. I mean, I feel like most athletes like they train in a very different way, right? So this is probably like the first time you kind of lift on your own, like without like a sport, right? So
Yeah.
what have you been doing mainly like the last term? Like were you just doing like just typical like push pull legs kind of stuff? Or?
Yeah. So I would say last semester was definitely mainly like push pull legs because like that's definitely what I'm familiar with when I wasn't doing baseball lifts. But more recently I've switched to like upper lower because I would say like right now I'm going about like 4 times a week.
Perfect, yeah.
And I don't know, like I don't think it makes a huge difference, but I don't know whose podcast it was, but I saw a podcast that was talking about like the benefits of like increasing frequency. So like if I was doing push pull legs, I would only be able to do like one muscle group twice.
What do you mean by frequency? Like how
like
often
frequency?
you hit the set?
Yeah, how often, or frequency would be like how many sessions you have for a muscle group a week. And so like the idea with doing upper lower as opposed to push pull legs would be like instead of hitting like chest twice one week and then like back and buys and twice another week and etc., you would be able to just hit like your entire upper body twice a week and your entire lower body twice a week. And supposedly research says that helps with muscle growth.
I think that was Andy Galpin, if I'm not wrong.
Maybe. I mean, I don't remember.
I think he was on Huberman a while back.
Huh?
I think he was on Andrew Huberman's show a while back.
Okay, that sounds right. Yeah,
Okay.
I've watched him a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I saw that and I was like, might as well give it a try. And I'm liking it for sure, but it is a little bit of an adjustment, like just how you have to structure your workouts, because the way I ended up doing it was like I'm still doing the same number of exercises for each muscle group in each workout, but I just lowered the amount of working sets. So normally I would do like 3 or 4 depending on the exercise, but now I'm just doing 2.
Yeah.
So
I feel that's pretty good. And you go like to failure every time on those, or?
Kind of depending on the exercise. Like, dude, I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's really hard for me to go to failure on squats.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say squats. Fuck squats.
It's so hard to go to failure. I fail sometimes, but like.
I feel like it's more like I feel like you don't want to fail on squats because like I feel like everyone looks at you or something.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, that's probably part of it. And then like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's like almost like a block to an extent, but like. Sometimes it happens to me where like I think I'm going to get the next rep but I just won't, so like that's when I'll fail. But like if I have like a close rep, like one that I'm definitely struggling to get, usually I'll definitely like stop there. So like definitely for squats,
pretty close to failure.
Yeah, like I'll get close to failure, but like I don't know, failure is a little bit scary for squats. But I would say like everything else, like I go to failure for.
I feel like squats go from the worst exercise to the best exercise based on how many reps you do.
Oh yeah.
Like honestly, I think squats are my favorite exercise when we're talking 1 to 5 rep range. Like I love them.
Yeah.
But the second you're doing squat sets of like 8 to 12 and shit to failure, it's like fuck this shit.
It's tiring as heck.
Like
too.
you just feel like you run a marathon when you're done with that set. It's insane, bro.
Yeah. One thing over the summer that I was doing with one of my buddies who was a little more experienced in lifting than I was like I want to say it was like 2 like heavy sets of squats, and this was like one day, like one squat day, and we would change it up a little bit, but like we would do 2 sets of like heavy squats and then 1 burnout set, and dude, that last set was terrible.
How much you do on burnout? Just like keep it
just
light?
like 225 for like I think 10 we would usually
impressive.
do.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, one thing that I was always used to doing was like kind of going quick with my lifts, like because I mean in baseball you always train for explosiveness, so I would always be like I don't know, like not fast on the way down, but like faster than you probably should be on the way down. And like one thing that has changed definitely with like moving more towards like just regular lifting, like bodybuilding, is like going slower during the what are the 2 different movements called?
4.
Like eccentric.
Oh, decentric. Yeah, it was a decent. It's not decentric. It's like I know eccentric's like slow on the way down.
Okay, then like
Eccentric and concentric.
Concentric. Yeah.
Yeah, but like slower during the eccentric part of the movement, which definitely makes it like a lot harder, especially with squats. So like when I would do that, it was tough.
Do you use like bands and stuff at all?
Huh?
Do you guys use bands and stuff?
For baseball, yeah. But not
for yourself, obviously. Yeah.
But yeah, the bands were interesting. One
I've tried it before. It feels weird.
Yeah, definitely. Like one common exercise for baseball, I would say, would be like trap bar deadlifts. And
Love
the
those.
program that I was doing with that would be like you can tie a band around it, and then just that basically just makes the lift a lot harder like as you go up, right?
What do you mean when so trap bar, you're tying the band how? Like to what?
So just I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but like
picture,
if you
like a trap bar banded.
If you like lay the band like on the outside of the handles, there's a way you can like get it to go under. So like you have the 2 bands under the trap bar, and if you step on them, then it just increases resistance.
Oh, because
like,
you're stepping on it.
Yeah, like that.
Oh, I see what you
Pretty
mean.
much. Yeah, so like that's something we would do a lot.
That looks hard.
Yeah, I mean,
because they have the constant resistance, right?
Right.
Like, it builds with time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, those were hard, but like another thing with lifting with baseball is like it's never really meant to be conditioning. Like it's a lot of the time it is like low reps, just like as fast as you can possibly do. So like usually you don't get like super tired with baseball lifts. There's only been like one off the top of my head that was like actually terrible, and it was I'm assuming you're familiar with Bulgarian split squats. It's like it's like that, but you hold the bottom position.
Yeah.
For like 60 seconds to a minute and a half.
With the weights?
Yeah, that was
That burns.
terrible. That was terrible, dude.
Bro, we used to make fun of our baseball friends all the time because, like, I think there's this stereotype where, like, they just eat like shit.
That
poorly
is a
conditioned,
baseball thing.
and they're fat. And our friend used to eat like shit, and he plays baseball like D3, I think. But
Well, dude, it's crazy. Like, of all the sports, I mean, besides maybe like, I don't know, like golf maybe, like baseball is one where like you can definitely be out of shape and still go like D1 and be an insanely good player.
that's not you, though. You're in pretty good shape.
I'm in decent shape.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm in solid shape, but I could definitely be a lot better. And I'm getting there.
I'll see worse, don't worry.
Yeah.
It's funny, bro, because we had our guy, like, he was really good at baseball. And he's pretty good at, like, every field sport game. Like, he'd win the spike ball tournament. He'd crush us at everything. But he would just always get made fun of despite that. Like, he'd wake up like, we lived in a dorm, right? So I lived in a different dorm than most of my friends. But they would come down in the morning. He's, like, in the morning, like, at 9 a.m. eating dipping dots and shit. Like, he ate, dude, for dinner.
That's actually crazy.
He would bring a salad with Jell-O in it in the dining hall. I'm like, where the fuck do you find the Jell-O from? And it's just like, he's just eating.
Wait, a salad with Jell-O?
He has all the greens and everything. He has Jell-O blocks of Jell-O in it. He just eats like absolute shit. Like, we're all eating like our good chicken rice, whatever. Bro, he's eating Jell-O in his salad, bro.
Bro, why even do that?
It's the most baseball thing.
I can't imagine that tastes good, but I don't know. Maybe it does.
I guess he's doing well in life, so.
Yeah, good for him. I don't know, but like, nutrition is one thing that I feel like is something I could do better with. Like, I don't eat badly, but like, I am the type of person who like, generally I would say I have an addictive personality, and I do have like a sweet tooth. So like when I was younger, definitely I would struggle with like eating healthy foods. Like, if I had the option to eat unhealthy foods, then like I would eat them. So one thing like my family likes to do is just not have them in the house. That's and good. That definitely helps a lot. But especially like being in college, like that's something that I've had to like, you walk by like the ice cream machine or like the cookies every day, and like, yeah, like now I'm actually having to practice like the self-discipline that you need, because you have to walk by and be like, no, I shouldn't be eating that.
It's hard, man.
And yeah, it's hard to do. Like, I have definitely gotten like ice cream and cookies before, but like I would say like I'm getting better with it, which is a good thing.
It's interesting, man. So it's good that I feel like you respect your family a lot. You know, they do all these practices like being daredevils in the mountains and not keeping sweets in the house. They look like pretty cool people. I think that you said that as a child, you probably didn't feel as much guilt, right? Like, you ate a cookie or whatever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know how much your family talked to you about nutrition as a young kid, but I'm assuming that you probably learned about these things with time, right? You probably
for sure. It was always something important to my family, and my mom would always tell me about it. Like, when I was really young, like, my mom would set out like a little cup of fruits and vegetables every morning, and like she would tell me about it, but I wouldn't care. And I would say like as time went on, that's when I actually started like caring about like what I was putting into my body more, and that leads me here. So
what age was that when you started really? I mean, like, I'm assuming she probably did that since a young age, but what age did you have the conviction that this is important, like, for yourself?
I would say like probably like the time I started realizing it, I would say, is like early high school maybe. But like actually doing something about it, I would say more like junior and senior year of high school, because that's also when I was like, I don't know, like, you know how I was saying like over time, because I didn't like baseball as much, like it hindered my performance a little bit. Like, even though that was that's the case, like technically I was still better than before, just how it works. It's just I wasn't performing to my own standard. But like I was still like considered very good at baseball, and like because of that, and I was still thinking about college, I knew like I wanted to like optimize my health and like make sure that I was putting myself in the best position possible if I did want that option. And especially like with how college sports are, like a lot of colleges will take the better the person with like the better better physical attributes, like the taller person, they're more projectable. So like the way I looked at it is like, since I'm like 5'8", I need to make sure that I'm putting my body in the best position possible to be able to compete with people who are more naturally like strong, I guess. And so that's, I guess, like junior and senior year is when I really started to care more about it. And I would say like even now I care about it more so, just because like I have goals in terms of like how strong I want to be, what I want my body to look like. So I don't know, it's just kind of grown ever since junior year, I would say.
Yeah.
Do you feel like nutrition's important to you?
It's probably the most important thing.
Yeah. I mean, arguably nutrition's I don't know how to compare it to like exercise. Like,
it's like the same page, man.
You think
like
so?
The same page of the book. Like I feel like I heard this quote once that everyone who doesn't have a religion will make a religion. And there's so many examples of it, whether it be like capitalism or communism, but even individual people will make like their own religions. And I kind of thought to myself when I read that quote, like, what's my religion?
Mm-hmm.
And I realized it's probably just health, man. Like I feel like if you look at the attributes of a religion, there's like moral standards about it. Like it governs how you live your life. You set up rules and standards, and it's kind of how I treat health now. I feel like I wasn't always like that. I mean, I was kind of similar to you. I feel like I tend to have more of an addictive personality too, but I guess the sweet tooth was never the biggest challenge for me.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, thank God for that. Because I know it's a challenge, man. Especially when you live on a college campus and stuff. Like, I mean, I was a young kid. I didn't give a fuck. Like, I'd eat whatever. I'd eat sweets every day.
Yeah.
But I think when I realized it was bad, I was able to do it cold turkey.
Yeah.
So now, like, I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, that's something my brother has always been really good with, and to an extent, I definitely envy him and you for that. But it's also like a good thing for me to go through, is like, because there aren't a lot of things that I have to exert self-control over, and it's definitely like a good practice for me to learn to do this, because down the line there could be other things, and definitely want to make sure I know how to go about it, what I mean?
It builds a lot of character. It applies to like every aspect of life. Like you kind of build that muscle where it's good at like resisting things,
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So
yeah, but it's been important to me. I think ever since, I guess I started to care more like late high school about it. I mean, junior, senior year, about like what I'm eating, the diet, and I think my biggest thing now is just like not eating ultra processed food. Just like try to be very clean. Like for the most part, I just try to eat like chicken, rice, vegetables, and fruit. Obviously, every now and then I'll have like a taco, so there's bread over there, or a sandwich, or it's not the end of the world. It's fine.
Yeah, like something that I've started doing is like, I mean, even this is more recently, like when I was in high school, when I started caring more about nutrition, I wouldn't even think about like breads and carbs or anything like that. I would just more think about like protein and things like that. But like now, the way like what I'll do is like if I get a burger or something, I won't eat the bun. Like I'll just have like the patty or whatever. And even the patty, like it definitely is not. Yeah, like it's not good for you necessarily. But like
it's great.
I'm definitely like starting to make more conscious decisions about that to work towards improving my health. But
that's great, man.
Yeah,
I'm really happy for you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It's definitely much needed. So. Yeah.
I feel like when someone tells me that they value nutrition, I guess the first thing I always ask them is like, what's your definition of that? Because I think everyone looks at it differently. Like everyone has like a different lens they have on. Because I think that a lot of people don't even think about nutrition in that way. They just think about the macros, right? So if I can go to the gym, then I can eat whatever I want, is the mindset of a lot of people, which to a degree is true. Like you could eat like a bunch of pancakes for breakfast and go to the gym, and you're going to be fine because you're not going to put on fat. But I think that people fail to realize that there's other downstream effects of eating bad, right?
Yeah, I think that's something that has like occurred to me more recently, is like regardless of like what you're doing in the gym or exercise wise, like what you eat is going to be just as important regardless of that. So it's definitely important to make sure that you're eating healthy foods and less processed and things like that. So
I feel like for me it's always been easier to like either just go all in or not all in. So like I often go like 6-month stretches without eating any sweet, but then like I think that it's important though to have it when you feel like it every now and then. Like I just feel like people beat themselves up too much over having it every now and then. So like I mean like even like my friends who try to eat clean, like it's I even tell them it's okay to like every like once every couple weeks or something you can have something sweet. Like for me the way I do it is like I like to associate like places with lifestyle. So like I'll set like Michigan as a place where I don't eat sweet because that's where I spend most of my time. But then on breaks, like or if I'm traveling, I'll usually like I traveled over winter breaks and I ate sweets over there and it was fine. And then I'm like back here and I'm back in the eating clean mindset. I feel like that works for me really well. But I feel like I think the thing is like when you have these kind of addictive personalities and stuff, you gotta play these kind of games with yourself to try to convince some of these things. And I guess everyone's on a different page. Everyone has like definition of success differently. Like some people are just happy with like eating a sweet once a week, which I think is really good too. Like you're probably gonna be totally fine doing that. So I'm curious about like with time. You said that you struggle. You walk to the dining hall, you see like your friends all just grab like ice cream cones and shit at the end and like cookies, and you probably get that little craving because you've kind of associated with your brain with like sweets and like this pleasure reward system and everything. So do you think with time you've gotten better at resisting it, or how often do you let yourself eat it, or like how's it been your approach to it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like over time it's definitely gotten better. Like what I tried doing at the start of the school year was just not doing anything at all. And that worked for a little bit of time, but like I just remember it was this one day like all of my friends were getting it and like they're like, Joey, come on, let's get some ice cream. And I was like, I like cracked and I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll have a little bit. And so after that there was like a period for like,
do you remember when that was?
Like maybe 2 months ago.
Okay, so you were clean till then.
Yeah, I was not eating any sweets for like a good amount of time. But after that there was a period where I was like letting it slide like more and more often. And then after that I was kind of like, I don't know, like I feel like I forgot a little bit about my goals and like what I really wanted to see for myself in the future. And the way that I think about it now is like every time I think about getting something sweet, like a treat, I just kind of have to think about like what my goals are. And like when I think about that, and sometimes you got to think about what'll happen if you don't follow, or like do the things that you need to do to achieve your goals. Like that's definitely helpful for me a lot. Like if I can just think of something that'll like motivate me in the moment to like make the decision to not do the bad habit that I have, like that's helpful for me. And then also just like, I don't know, you got to learn to say no too, because like that's kind of what started it in the beginning, was like friends that are kind of like they care less about it, so they're like, it's not a big deal, like it's not going to hurt you in the long run. And like to an extent they're probably right, but it's also like the way that I am, like I kind of need to just like stop,
like be extreme about it, right?
Yeah. So I think that's what works best for me, and that's probably what I'll continue to do.
So yeah, you were clean for a long time. That's really impressive. Yeah, but when you say you describe it as a crack, is it like you ate it once and then the cravings just came back every time and you couldn't resist it anymore?
Yeah, that's why I say I have an addictive personality, because it's like once I have something, like I want it more.
Oh man.
And yeah, that makes it hard. So
addiction's such a weird one, man.
Yeah,
it's like so fucked.
Yeah,
like it's so hard to like manage this thing up here.
Yeah,
plays games with you.
It's complicated, dude. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So right now your approach has kind of been that to kind of manage the cravings, you think about your goals and that. So do you have like, I feel like when we say the goals, sometimes it can be so vague, right? That it's like the craving is so strong that your brain kind of convinces you like, yeah, fuck those goals, like whatever. So do you feel like you have in life, you live with like this clarity of like always knowing exactly what you want? Or when you say goals, is it more of like a vaguer term? Or like when you say that, like what do you mean by that?
Well, so I know what you're saying. And I would say I'd say my goals are kind of like in between that. Like I do have some specific goals, like especially in terms of like strength. Like right now I'm like my goal is to hit 225 on bench, and I'm almost there. So
let's do it.
Hoping for that pretty soon.
What you at right
now? So I haven't maxed out in a minute, but like my previous max was 205. No, it was 200. But that was during the summertime. So like I haven't actually maxed out in a really long time. But just with what I'm doing right now, like I use the calculator and everything, it technically says I'm at like 230, but I'm also not good at like the like high weight single rep kind of thing.
Yeah, because
so,
like your body's not used to holding it.
So, right. Yeah. So I would say like right now I'm probably at like 215, 220-ish.
Pretty good.
So
that's like right there, dude.
Yeah, almost there. But so yeah, I do have some goals, like some more specific goals like that, and like also goals relating to like my lifestyle in terms of like how often I want to work out. And like another goal I have is like sleep schedule. That's a huge thing for me, is like I'm the type of person that needs a lot of sleep. So what I'm trying to do right now is be able to go to bed at 10:45 and wake up at 7:45 every morning.
It's 9 hours, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
So, because I'm the type of person that needs like, I don't need it, but like I really prefer 8+ hours of sleep.
9 hours is what I need.
Yeah. So that's really important to me. But just more of like a broad goal that I have is like I know what I want my body to look like. Like I have, like I see like influencers, and I have like a dream physique of that I want to achieve. So like I don't know, it helps to kind of picture that in my mind and be like, do you really want this, And so yeah, that's kind of how I work about it. So I would say I have like a combination of like specific goals and as well as like pretty vague goals as well.
That's pretty cool. So it kind of all builds off of the same ideas of like health. Health is like the big boss term, and there's all these like little spikes coming out of it.
Yeah.
Want to make sure my sleep's on point. Want to make sure I'm not eating like shit. Want to make sure I'm getting stronger. I guess it's all kind of these different things, but they all kind of come together as like this one core thing that motivates you. It's like putting your body in the most optimal state.
Yeah.
Being as healthy as possible. Being as strong as possible. Being in the best physique possible. And,
Right.
I feel like when you kind of achieve those things, you kind of look at yourself like this, optimal superhuman being, feels good all the time, and it's motivating, like it's fun to be healthy, and I guess sometimes it's fun not to be healthy every now and then, but for the most part, sleeping on time just feels good, waking up on time feels good. And
I mean, the way I would describe it is like when you make unhealthy choices, it feels good in the moment because I don't know, like for me, eating sweet treats it tastes good, so like I enjoy it in the moment, but then I'll feel bad about it like a couple hours or like right after, and like sometimes you'll just reflect and be like, I really shouldn't have done that. Whereas like if you're doing something, like if you're making good choices, good habits, in the moment, like a lot of times they'll be hard and you'll be like, dude, this sucks. But like in the long term, you're like very thankful that you do it. Like I remember growing up, like I wasn't necessarily in bad shape or like fat, but I definitely wasn't like overly muscular, and like I definitely had a little bit of chub to me in my stomach, and just like being able to see growth over a period of time is like really rewarding to think about. So
it feels good to look back at like all the things you've built over time, especially I think when you get into that cycle of like building things and seeing success. I feel like, I mean, for you, you've probably seen success in baseball for a lot of time in life, so that's kind of fulfilled that for you. But I guess even expanding that to other domains, right? It's something fulfilling about like setting out to do something and like seeing the results, right? Because they take time, Yeah. And a lot of hard decisions, but it leads to something great. And
exactly.
It's like addicting almost in a way. You know, you want more of that.
Yeah, it's kind of, the other funny thing is like, have you ever experienced like you kind of achieve a goal that you have, and then like from there you're like, okay, I need more, like something like that. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of how it is, and like for me it's been like that in terms of just like how much weight I lift, as well as like I don't know, I mean there was probably a time when I wished that I looked like how I look right now. I wouldn't say like my physique is good necessarily, but like it's definitely a lot closer to what I wanted it to be than like a couple years ago. And like now the way that I think about it is like, okay, this is all right, but like this is nowhere near where I want to be. So like I don't know, it just keeps growing the more you do it, and that's also a good feeling to have.
Yeah.
So.
I guess some people look at that as a bad thing. I mean, I don't think of it as a bad thing, but I just think that as long as you're aware of it, then it's totally fine, right? As long as you're like, I built all the success and I'm happy about it, and like I want more, being a part of that never-ending kind of journey is kind of fun. It's the adventure thing again, right? Where it's like, I think a lot of people forget that perspective that you have right now, that it's like, I once wanted the physique I have now. But to you, it's like, wait, I'm looking at that physique right now. That looks better to me. I mean, if I look back at my life right now, like, there's a lot of things I have now that I wish I had once, right? So, but, now there's a million more things I want. But I think as long as you're aware of that like, I built up a lot, but like there's still so much more to build. Your life could just be a culmination of that forever. And it's just, you're always, I mean, I feel like it's pretty fun to want things and achieve them,
Yeah, for sure. When I was a little bit younger, like I'm usually the type of person that's very hard on myself. Like it mainly came from baseball, I feel like, but just also like it also applies to like lifting and my physique and things like that. But I've grown a lot in that area where like I've been taught by like my parents especially a lot. Like my mom, she finds it really important to be able to like reflect on how far you've come. Like I used to definitely be like mainly just looking at the future and what I wanted for myself, whereas like now I feel like I'm definitely a lot better at seeing how far I've come and like being like able to reflect and say, wow, okay, we've gone pretty far. So yeah,
it's amazing, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you talk about like being hard on yourself, I feel like it's hard to kind of get out of that because again, these things are complicated. You know, they're somewhere baked in our brain and stuff. So like when you realize that, I guess that you're kind of being hard on yourself, like as it's gotten better in time, like what have you really done to kind of improve that? You know, have you done things that have kind of made it alleviate with time, or?
Sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, like over time, like do you feel like you've gotten better at like not being as hard on yourself? Like are there things you've done specifically to kind of help yourself with that, or?
To an extent, I think so. Yeah, like I would definitely say it's still something that I need work on. Not necessarily need work on. It's still something I do. Like I'm definitely still hard on myself. But I think I've gotten better at like kind of using that rather than just like making it hinder me. Like I don't know how to explain it really, but yeah, I don't know. It's really hard for me to put into words, but I think like just as a general answer, like I have gotten better at it, but not necessarily like getting rid of it, more just like learning how to use it for my own benefit. So yeah.
What do you mean by like your own benefit? Like I know you're struggling to put into words, but is it kind of like you fuel it in a way, or?
Like yeah, like I don't know, and like maybe something I would do is like like I would just think think negative thoughts and then just feel bad about it, kind of just like mope to myself, you know. Whereas like now I'll think about it and be like, okay, well, I mean, there's something that you can do about it, and just use it as fuel to, you know, go further, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. Interesting. So you sleep at 10:45 every day?
I'm not perfect. Yeah, for sure.
It's your goal usually, like
but yeah,
7 days a week?
That's my goal. Yeah. Like, yeah, I would say like normally it does range between like 10:30 and 11.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Just because like it's especially with like assignments and just like school and everything else that's going on, it's pretty hard to be like perfect with it. But for the most part, it's not too bad. So
yeah, that's interesting. I used to like care a lot about the time I slept in high school. I guess when I came here, I stopped caring about what time I sleep. It was definitely not the best in the beginning of the school year, but then with time, I've kind of fallen back into my old ways a little bit more. But I guess like I'm more variable with it now, but it typically does fall between kind of like 10:30 and 11:30. I try to at least. Like I feel like when it crosses 11:30, I'm like it's getting too late. But yeah. I guess I always try to give for like at least 8 to 9 hours, usually 9 hours.
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
yeah.
Theoretically, that should be plenty for a college student, but I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't feel like enough, to be honest.
It's crazy that people live off of like 5-6 hours.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
It's impressive to me. But like another thing I want to ask you, because like you seem somewhat similar to me, and like you tend to like to go to bed a little bit earlier, at least compared to the average college student. Do you like, I don't know, what are your thoughts on like partying and like, because a lot of college kids like to, you know, go out late and do things like that. Like, do you like doing that, or?
Yeah, interesting question. I think to a degree it's a little bit overhyped. I think I knew it's big in college, but I didn't know how integrated it would be into like life, I guess. I just think that for me, I'm all for like experiences, you know. Like I was definitely that guy in high school that was like the routine is more important than anything, so I will sacrifice it for everything. You know, and I was more extreme about it in high school. I'm like a little bit more lax on it now.
Yeah.
Like before, I would have to sleep at 9 o'clock every day, and I think I did that for like, I don't know, 3-4 months straight.
That's impressive, dude.
Like weekends, everything, like through my fall term, my senior year, and I'd wake up at like 5:30 every single day.
Wow, that's really good.
And it's cool, and it's happy and stuff, but you just don't have many experiences when you make that like a rule.
That's true.
Like a single time you can't do it. I think life is all about like having experiences, following your intuition. I think following my intuition is something I had to learn to do this year. And I think your intuition is a lot more intelligent than you think. Because I feel like we did the discipline and health stuff because we're scared about our emotions, like what feels good in the moment. And we kind of put intuition in the same bucket because it's more about like your emotions, how you feel like having the chocolate, so you eat it kind of thing. So since you want to stay away from that, we kind of tell ourselves that logic is the most important thing. And logic tells you that routine's important, sleep's important, health's important, right? But I think maybe I went too far with that because I think your intuition is a lot more intelligent than you think. And I think I learned that this year. So definitely by the end of my senior spring, I was more, I allowed myself to have more experiences. And I think for most people, it's not the end of the world to, I guess, do what you want. And I guess I'm not here to tell anyone how to live, you know, like some people can party all they want and still find happiness and fulfillment. And if they can, and they still live long and enjoy their life, then nothing wrong with it. I guess for me, I can't see myself doing that a lot, you know. Again, it's more like the experience but not lifestyle, you know. I still feel like for me, a lifestyle of health is a lot more fulfilling. And if I just close my eyes and picture the perfect life, it's just having people I love around me, spending my hours in the day doing what I love, like working on projects like the podcast, you know, like pursuing my career in software, you know, powerlifting, exercising, like playing sports, I don't know, going hang out on the beach and go surfing, like, I don't know, do fun shit, go on adventures, go on road trips. I feel like that to me is fulfilling enough. And just having people I love around me, whether that's my partner plus my friends, I think having that is the perfect life in my eyes for the future. And having family when I get older too, like my own family, I think for me that's all I really need. I could care less about the partying scene, but I'm not against it completely because I do value experiences now. So I think every now and then it's not the end of the world to go out, as long as it's not like everything that consumes you. So I think that's where I've kind of come to now. But yeah, what do you think about it?
Honestly, I don't think I could have said it a whole lot better. Like, I'm not the type of person to go out, to say the least. Like, in fact, I would say, like, with the type of person I am, like, I wouldn't like going out, like, especially just, I don't know, with the way that college culture is, like, I don't know, like, it's not a bad thing necessarily, but, like, it's just not my thing, I would say. And I agree with you in that, like, I think it can be like a good thing for me to be able to experience it, but it's also just something that I would say I don't personally get any fulfillment from.
Same here, yeah.
So I don't know, that's just how I view it.
Yeah, because I feel like if you're really just going out, it's really just spamming stimulation for a little bit and that's it, and you just feel like shit for the next few days. So I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I only went out twice this whole year. I didn't even drink. So
Yeah, same.
Have you drank before or no?
I've had like one drink.
Yeah.
But I've never gotten to the point where I've ever felt anything, and I don't really feel the need to. I don't know. Like.
So are your views about like drinking in general like similar to everything else, like with going out, like?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. Like, the reasons that I don't do it are a combination of like health as well as like just not feeling the need to, and also just not really wanting to get so wasted that I end up doing something stupid.
Yeah. People do stupid shit all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't ever want to get to that point, I don't think. But yeah, what about you?
I've never drank before, and
that's a good thing. There's no reason to need to do it. So.
I've never, exactly. Like I feel like there's never been a moment in my life where I feel like that sounds really fun. Like it just never has sounded like something. I feel like I found a lot of happiness in life that it's like, why do I need to go searching for something else? You know, I've never like smoked or anything either. You know, I mean, it's interesting. Again, like friends might have done it before. It's not the end of the world. I'm not gonna start telling them they're bad for doing it. You know, it's good. Again, experiences are important, but I just feel like I found so much joy in the world just doing this kind of lifestyle. So why do something that will lead to worse outcomes? You know, down the road.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to think about it. And also like something that I don't know. I mean, I think this probably has also shaped the way that I think about like partying and alcohol is like I think my parents did a really good job of like being an in-between of like strict as well as also being a little bit lax in their parenting style. Is like they've actually always told me like if you want to like try something, like we're okay with that, and not anything crazy, but like when they say that they're mainly referring to like alcohol, but they're basically just like if you want to try something, that's okay, just like ask us and we'll let you try something, but like, and I think because of that I've never felt the need to even do that. Like I've never felt the need to ask them to try anything, and I haven't. So yeah.
I was my friend over there, number 79, Charlie Copeland. I think you'll like him a lot because he's very similar to you as well.
Really?
Yeah, he's just like us. But I was at the IM with him on Sunday, and we were walking back. We went to Chipotle, and we're kind of having a very similar conversation about like parenting, you know, and we're kind of going back and forth and debating each other a little bit because, I mean, I've had a lot of different views on this growing up, and it's changed every couple of years. But what I think about it, but it's like, how do you parent a kid to kind of get the outcome you want? You know, do you be super strict? Do you be lax? And I feel like no one really knows the answer.
That's what I was gonna say. I think it's very complicated. Like I feel like to an extent there's some luck involved almost. Like I don't know. Do you have more to say? Like what do you think about it?
I mean, yeah, I've gone back and forth so many times.
Yeah.
I think what I've come to now is like, I think there's like a few fundamental rules, which again it's complicated. So you can do the rules and you can still fail. But
yeah,
I guess how I kind of look at it is, I think if you do these few things, you're probably in the best position based on what I know so far. I could be completely wrong as I get older. I'll probably change my opinion on it again. But I think absolute number one rule is you have to embody the spirit. I think that's my number one rule. Embody the spirit that you want to invoke in your children. Because I think that there's something in human nature where, you know, we are just mimicking machines. That's all we are. We look up, we figure out how to act, how to talk, how to walk, and we literally do that through mimicking. Yes, we have a lot of primal instincts inside of us, but like I feel like 90% of who we are is because of things we've done, seen around us and mimicked.
Yeah.
And I think there's something so deep about the relationship between a child and their parent that they will almost like mock them, mimic them, and so many traits are. So I feel like the way your parents are is a great definition of who you are, as long as it's they're actually living by it, you know? My dad, he actually used to drink soda and stuff, and was a little bit more unhealthy before. When I was born, he like quit soda cold turkey. He started eating healthier. And it's funny because it's like my parents had never been strict about me drinking soda. Like I don't remember a conversation like you can't drink soda, you can't. Like they were never pushed me to eat unhealthy. They never did, or eat healthy or eat unhealthy. They never pushed it on me. My dad never drank Coke, and then I just never felt the need to. You know, I almost embodied that. Like I saw my parents never drink soda. I never drink soda. Like I've drank soda like twice in my life. You know, it's always been like disgusting to me. Like I never liked it. You know, so I'm like, okay. My dad grew up like with a sweet tooth as well, and he eats sweets every now and then. But he knows it's a bad thing, and he's kind of like you, like a little bit of sweet tooth. Like every now and then he'll eat, but like for the most part, he's pretty disciplined about it. Can go months without eating it. Yeah. And that's kind of the way I was growing up. Like I would eat sweets because I felt like it, but then over time, as I matured, I kind of mimicked the mindset that he was kind of in of like eating it's bad for you, every now and then it's fine. Then I embodied that, and I guess that was the one thing I ended up being good at, controlling that. So yeah. But I feel like I don't want to throw my family under the bus, but I've noticed some other things as well. Like love my mom, she's a great person, and she's taught us a lot of important things growing up. But I'll see her sometimes, like I went home for break, and she'll tell my sister, like, stop watching All American on Netflix or something, like stop watching these TV shows, and then she'll go and start watching TV herself, you know, like if you don't embody it, you could say whatever you want to your kids, they're not going to listen. Yeah. They're just not going to listen. You know, if you tell her, don't go on Snapchat all day, wasting your time on Instagram, and then you go and like scroll on YouTube Shorts or Facebook, like we embody the spirit. That's the number one rule. Yeah. So I feel like for me, it takes a lot of stress off of me because I know that if I embody the spirit of like the life I want my kids to live and I don't say anything about it, it's like very, very likely they'll embody the spirit too. Yeah. It's like that's my number one rule. Number two is like, I think to a degree, you can't just embody the spirit and then hold your fingers praying for the best. Because I think to a degree, you need to enforce like what we believe in as a family, but at the same time, not being too strict about it. Like the wording of your parents was perfect. Like if you want to try it, like we'll let you try it, but there's also like a suggestive tone to it that we kind of condemn it. Yeah. But you know, it's up to you because they kind of respect you as like an individual to make that decision. Yeah. And I feel like as kids, that's everything we want. You know, I feel like up to the age of whatever, like growing up, all we want to be is adults and be treated like adults. And when you're older, all you want to be is like be treated like a kid, kind of. Like you want to be a kid again, I guess. So it's always like you always want what you don't have. Right. And I feel like as kids, the only thing they want is to be respected. And when they realize their parents are coming at them, making these rules that you have to be like this, you have to be like that, it's like natural for a kid to backlash because like these people don't respect me, they don't treat me like an individual. I'm gonna go and do exactly the opposite of what they fucking told me. And plus, they're not even like a lot of parents are like, well, I drink because I'm older, but you're not supposed to because you're younger. They don't embody the spirit. They're being strict on them, and they'll just exactly not listen to anything they say. Yeah. So I feel like after embodying the spirit, I think you need to be a suggestive tone, but still not strict about it. I think that's my second rule. Just like, you know, if my children ask me, like, as a family, like, we value being healthy and we don't eat junk, but we're not going to stop you from doing what you believe is correct.
That's actually a really smart way to go about it, I feel like. I don't know. I would just say, like, because that is probably how my parents have gone about it, at least for the most part. You know, nobody's perfect. But I would say, like, the way that I act and just everything about me is very similar to how my parents view things. So, like, I think that definitely works, like, at least to an extent. Like, one thing that I would say would worry me is, like, you're not going to have total control over, you know, like, what happens, like, what your kid is going to be surrounded by. Like, for example, like, because your kid's going to be going to school, they're going to be surrounded by other kids who are taught by their parents in a different way. So, you know, they're also going to be, like, affected by that too, like what other things they're around. So I think to an extent there's definitely some luck into it, but I think what you said is how you can definitely go about it in the best way possible. At least, like, that's what I think now, you know.
Nice. Yeah. So that third component of it, you know, the external factors, that I guess where we start to lose control.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that is something we can add like a third rule in to kind of control for more, or we should kind of just kind of leave it up to hope?
That's, like, really hard for me. Like, I genuinely have no idea. So I don't know. Do you have any idea for that? I mean, I guess, like, maybe what some parents do is, like, they'll send their kid to, like, a private school or something like that.
That's
but even
better.
then, like, that, I don't think that's actually going to do anything.
It's the same bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think that there's only so much you can do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the second you start to control that factors, you start to become the helicopter parent. And I don't want to be the helicopter parent. And it's scary, man, because, I mean, children are highly influenced by their environment.
Yeah, exactly.
But I still strongly believe in those first two principles, that I think they're stronger than that. I think that, you know, everyone's different genetically. I think genetics plays a component in it, you know. The environmental factors could be stronger or less. I think to a degree you just have to, like, kind of let them learn for themselves. You know, but I think if you embody the spirit and you're suggestive about it, they will respect you, they will look up to you, and they'll almost want to listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they'll be influenced, and they may make some wrong decisions, but there's only so much you can do as a parent.
Yeah.
You know, if you try to control it too much, they'll backlash, and they'll know it, they'll sense it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're like, but I think you can still be suggestive about a parent, about who they spend time with. You know, you can still, I think it's important for a parent to, like, know who your kids are hanging out with, so, like, encourage them to, like, bring their friends over to your home and just get an idea, and you can kind of give them, like, pointers at, like, what you notice about them. But I feel like there's an art to dealing with it. Like, I started reading a bunch of, like, human nature books because I find this shit really interesting.
Yeah.
And I feel like all the stuff I've learned from, like, Robert Greene about, like, power and seduction
Mm-hmm.
can be applied even in this situation, because I think all of his principles kind of rely on the human nature. So you have to really be careful about, like, people's egos and how they act and stuff. But I think there's a way you can do it where, like, you could use your suggestive tone to kind of influence them. But I would say, like, for me, I don't want to put the chains on. I'd kind of just, like, let them be for a little bit, let them kind of live their own life, make them at least feel like they're independent, because then they're more receptive to coming back to you for advice.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, I've never been a parent, so I guess we'll learn.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really sure if there is a better way than that, though, to be honest. Like, just everything that you described, I feel like, at the very least, is, like, a very good basis of, like, what you should try to do as a parent. There was something I was going to say, but I totally forgot.
Yeah,
it's
happens so many
though.
times, don't worry.
But I don't know. I forgot.
It
might come back to me. Back to me.
It usually comes back to me. So
Yeah.
I happened like twice or three times. It's embarrassing, but yeah, dude. I think that it's cool that you're thinking about this kind of stuff, because I feel like a lot of people don't. You know, like, it's really rare for me to come across someone that's, like, very mature and, like, thinking about these kind of things. So
yeah,
I'm really excited for all the amazing things you can do in life, man.
Dude, you too. I don't know. You seem like you have a lot figured out, which is great. So
hopefully along the way we keep figuring more shit out.
Yeah, for real. There's a lot, but I don't know. We'll keep learning. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's all less about.
Yeah. Also, I did end up remembering what I was.
It always comes back.
I was just gonna say, like what you were talking about with, like, having the suggestive tone. Like, I definitely think that there's, like, a balance to it, and like, going back to the importance of, like, being suggestive as opposed to, like telling like, not to do something, or just being strict in general, like, overly strict. I know, like, a ton of people who their parents have been super strict around them, and especially in high school, like, just the high school I went to, there were like most of my friends were Indian in high school, and I mean you can confirm or deny I guess, but like I think generally the culture is like a little bit more strict on the strict side. Would you say so?
Yeah.
And like I've seen with a couple people, not everyone, like, and not necessarily my friends even, but like a lot of the time I feel like what will happen from strict parenting is like as soon as like your kid gets an opportunity to like do what they want, like especially in college, I feel like they'll just like go crazy. And
they're kind of building up this desire in them. They're stirring it up.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I definitely think like there's a balance to it. So it's probably hard to perfect, and you can't be perfect with it. But I think as long as you have that in mind, like you'll end up doing like the best that you can, and like I think with those ideals in mind, it'll be harder to mess that up. So
yeah, that makes sense. It's funny because like the way you're describing it's like I'm going through like all of Robert Greene's books because he's probably my favorite author, so I'm on the art of seduction now. And it's funny because there's like this one principle in seduction that he talks about where it's like to kind of stir up desire in someone else, you have to like not let them have it. You know?
Yeah.
Like for example, if you're trying to get someone to like fall in love with you,
yeah,
you know, you like almost create that desire by like not giving them something they really, really want.
Mm-hmm.
And like preventing them from accessing it. Then all they want is to fucking take it. So like these parents are almost like anti-seducing their children to do the exact opposite thing of what they wanted to initially. You know, like they're like, you can't drink. The second they're like a little bit older and a little bit mature, all the desire they've been building up, like, wait, I can't do this. Why can't I do it? Why can't everyone do it? I can't do it. Boom. The second I get a chance, we're all fucking in.
Yeah.
That's the scary part about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think it's an important balance because my friend Charlie, like he was telling me, and I actually agree with him on a lot of points too. And I'm sure he can't really defend himself right now. So I know if he's listening to this, he probably has a million things he wants to say too.
What is his viewpoint on it?
So he thinks that, and I agree with him on this, that he thinks that one of the biggest problems in America today is soft parenting, you know, where there's not enough strictness to it. So he believes that, and I've actually had a similar belief in the past too, that if I am a person that my children really look up to and respect, then it is okay to be like, you know, we don't do this in this household, you know, being more strict, because I feel like it is true in American culture that people are pretty lax on their children parenting and let them kind of do whatever.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Being strict about it, and not only just being strict because I said so and I'm the adult, but being strict about it, but also embodying it and also providing reason behind it. We don't do this because of X. We don't do this because health is important. We don't do this because the decisions we make in life will impact all. Like teaching them early on, but teaching them and being strict about it. Yeah. So, and then again, like none of us really know what works. To the way you described to me, I think it could work too. But, you know, for me, it's like everything without the strictness of it, because I just know that whether the children respects you or not, whether the child understands the reason or not, just because they're a child, if you don't let them have it, they'll want to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely hard, and I think that's a decent argument for sure. It's just like, for me, I would just say like, I think that can work, but it also I think it depends on like who it is to an extent. Like I just know some people where like if I thought about it, like I don't think it would work for them, but there's probably also people that does work for. And I like if you do that, I think you have to have like you do have to go about it in a very correct way. Like there's definitely a right way to do it, like what you were saying, being very like if you're very strong on your stances, you need to make sure that like you have good reasoning for it, and like your kid needs to respect you for it. So yeah,
I think it's also when you're being strict, I feel like there's two kinds of strictness. I think there's like the emotional strictness, and then there's like the logical tactical strictness, you know. I feel like a lot of parents are really strict because they're secretly deep inside very scared, right? I think that often our looks can be deceiving in a way that we often like the thing that we look at is like the thing that we're really strong about is often because we're hiding an inner weakness about that thing, you know. Like people who seem to be really big and strong in more of like a social way might also be very insecure on the inside, you know. It can be true for a lot of people. And I feel like for parents that genuinely feel afraid that they have lost control over their children, you know, parents who like feel like they've lost hope, parents that feel like their children kind of do whatever and don't respect them, then they almost want to like put the hammer down and like put the strictness on, like like they almost don't know what to do anymore. So like, you can't do this anymore. Like, I've decided this.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like that emotional strictness almost never works because the children can see it right through them. You know, I feel like if the way my friend Charlie described it is more of the logical, tactical strictness, where it's like you're not like doing it out of insecurity, but you're doing it because this is kind of like the mental decision you made. You know. And I think that's where the conversation gets interesting because we talk about these like broad concepts, but they're so nuanced. You know, there's like a million different ways of doing it. So, I guess that's where the trial and error gets kind of fun. I guess, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Like, although I definitely agree that like the emotional strictness method is definitely like not a great way to go about it. I definitely understand how it gets to that point. So like, do you think, like, do you have any idea on like what you would do if you got to that point, like how you could actually turn it around, like as opposed to just because a lot of parents would just like panic and do that? What do you think you would do like in that situation? Because personally, like I understand like at least why some parents would just resort to complete strictness like that.
Right. I guess let's define the situation a little bit, like this hypothetical. So let's say we kind of like, let's say the child is like in high school and he's like drinking and partying and making bad decisions, and that's exactly what we did not want. Like, what do we do now? Yeah. Right. That's hypothetical. I mean, I really feel like it comes down to the fundamental principles. I feel like if you're doing those two things, like I feel like it's really hard because it's hard to know what the situation is, right? You know, I guess my first instinct is just kind of go back to the principles. Like, are you doing those properly? Like, are you really embodying the spirit? You know. Are you doing something in a way that's stirring up the desire in them? You know, are you kind of creating rebellious children by being the super strict parent? Like, I feel like at first, I guess, it comes from looking inward, because I guess a lot of parents in that situation might start looking for the external factors, and when you start looking, you find 100. You know, oh, it's because of that one friend. I knew that one friend was a problem. I shouldn't have let him hang out with him. Oh, it's because I'm sending him to that shitty public school. They're teaching him bullshit things in this like humanities class or whatever. I don't know. I feel like it's human nature instinct to find all the reasons why it's not your fault and someone else's fault, and then kind of fall in this hopelessness if it's someone else's fault, right? I think the shift is like looking at what I did wrong and like going like back, like what did I do as a parent where he doesn't respect me, obviously, like where did we go wrong there? I don't know, he doesn't, like, it's almost like there's like this lost connection, right? I'm sure let me give you an example. Like, when you're a family, like there's like this tightness you feel with them. You know, you feel close to your brother, your mother, your father. You almost respect them. You're all kind of on the same page, on the same wavelength. I've seen parents before that are almost on a different wavelength than their children. It's really sad, you know, because it's almost like they kind of exist in different worlds, and I feel like that really stems from the parent. So I mean, again, I think it's nuanced in every situation. I don't think that's something you should stress about, because I feel like if you come into it, I mean, if you're like 19 years old, 18 years old thinking about this, like, you're probably never going to be in that situation, I'll be honest, because I think that it's easy to think that it happens because of external factors. I think it's always because of something that I did wrong as a parent, and I think once you have that mindset, it's really easy to find it, because I can't, it doesn't make sense to me that you do everything right on your end and somehow it's still something that didn't work. I feel like there's always something that you can do in your power, so I don't think it's something you should stress about, because I feel like talking to you, you'd be a great parent.
Yeah, no, I mean, hopefully I will be, but like, so with that being said, do you think like the best thing you could do is like fix the mistakes that you made on your end, truly embody what you want to teach your kid, and then like from there, do you think that you should just kind of like let them realize it on their own? Or
that's an interesting question. I think that the dynamic is different now, because they obviously don't respect you. So I think another challenge is like, how do I win their respect back? Yeah. So I guess it's first identifying like what are the reasons they don't respect me, and then I think that if you can figure out like tools to make them respect you more, this is very like vague, right? Because you don't have the specifics here. Because maybe just doing these things won't be as work as anymore because they've already gone this far, right? I think it's really needed to, I guess, first of all, figure out why they don't respect you and stop doing that thing. And number two, I guess, finding out ways, I guess even like telling them that you've changed, like trying to sympathize with them almost, maybe. That if you're like very upfront and reasonable with them, that I know that you don't respect me because of X, Y, Z, but I'm trying to be better about this. I think winning their respect back is the most important thing, because if they can look at you and realize you're human, you've changed and you're better, and they respect you, then you can almost leave the other stuff on the table and then see them change with time. You know, because the second they start respecting you, they're not going to like stop drinking immediately or whatever, right? But give them time, you know, and like with time, when you've built their respect back, then those subtle like, comments you make about the suggestive tone, like that's when it starts to pay off. So I think it's both the things, but also like winning their respect back. But
yeah, I like that idea of like actually talking to them about it. I feel like that's something that could work. Is like, I just want to let you know, like, I'm sorry for not, like, you just straight up say like, I'm sorry for not necessarily embodying what I wanted to teach you, but I just want to let you know that I'm gonna work to do better, and you know, hopefully from there that'll start to help them gain some respect back for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And honestly, like that thing that you did wrong could be anything. You know, it could be like maybe as a parent you're drinking too much, you get angry when you're drunk, and then they almost stop respecting you because of that, or they see like weakness in you. I feel like they can like sense weakness in you as children, right? Like they see you do small things here and there, or maybe you keep yelling at your mom or whatever. Like it could be honestly anything, right? It could be subtle things, and I think it's hard to find out what the thing is because it could be so subtle.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a challenge, man, and I guess none of us really know what it's like to be a parent.
Yeah.
That's what's fun about it.
Yeah, it's hard to think about. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
cool, man. What else you got going on? Just getting back. First week back for spring term, half a winter term.
Yeah, I don't know. It's different from high school in that it's kind of just like you instantly get back into the swing of things. Like usually in high school you kind of have like a day or two of just like kind of getting back into the motions, but like now it's kind of just like go instantly. So like I don't know. It's not hard to adjust to, I don't think, but like things are definitely moving now for sure. So yeah. What classes are you taking right now?
So I'm taking EX 280. You're in electrical engineering, right?
Yeah.
You're like I've met actually 3 people now. Before, like, I met the first person in electrical engineering like a month or 2 ago, and I was like, no one's in this fucking major.
I know, dude. I have barely met anyone.
Do you know anybody? Like, I mean, you probably have classes with them, right? Like, I know like 3 people total, so.
Yeah, I know a couple people, but like not many at all. Like, maybe off the top of my head, I could name like 4 or 5.
Yeah. There's like
not many.
There's one girl in our grade and there's one sophomore that usually at the gym at the same time as us. You know, I think his name's Brandon. I don't know if you met him, but he always comes with his one friend. Like, his one friend's always in the gray wife beater. And then he's a little bit taller than him. And he always wears a cap.
Maybe.
I don't know if he always has the McLaren t-shirt on. I guess you did
really?
too today. He has like the Hollister McLaren shirt.
Okay, I don't know, but
I'll point him out if I see him. But he's one of the rare ones.
For sure. All right.
Yeah, something. Yeah. So I mean, it's different for you, right? So do you still have to take 280 or no?
Yeah, I'm gonna take that next semester.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm taking EX 280, linear algebra, German fairy tales.
Yeah.
And one more. Fuck. Physics 140.
Okay.
How about you?
I'm doing 203, Calc 2. Engineering 101, and then like a nutrition class, and that's actually where my like some of my lifestyle goals have come from, is actually from that class. Like, it was helpful that there was an assignment for that, so I was like, oh perfect, I can just use this to help better myself. So
what was the assignment?
It was basically just it's like a physical challenge. So like technically what it is you set a physical challenge for yourself as well as a lifestyle challenge. So the lifestyle challenge that I chose was the sleep, like the sleep schedule thing.
So you can choose anything?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's cool.
I mean,
I like that. I'm about to take this class.
Yeah, no, it's good, and it's pretty much a free A. Like, the way that it works is.
Is it humanities credit?
I mean, I don't think so. No, it's general elective.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
It's like there are 50,000 possible points in the class.
Wait, what?
Yeah. But you need 21,000 to get an A. So it's like it's not like you just have to like do well on every assignment. It's like you can pick and choose a little bit, and like as long as you do enough assignments, you get an A pretty much. So like that part of it is super nice, but it's also just like kind of interesting to learn about and use it as an opportunity to, like how I'm just using it as an opportunity to like basically do what I already wanted to do. So yeah, it's
cool
definitely
shit.
nice. But so yeah, I'm doing all those.
That's fun. Busy?
A little bit, yeah.
I took 203 last term, by the way.
Yeah, 203 and Calc 2 are definitely my
I really
busiest
enjoyed 203.
classes. I think 203 is really interesting. It's just also hard.
Yeah, the homeworks are hard.
Yeah.
But like I had like 2 of my friends were also in it, so we just do the homeworks together, and then like that helped a lot because we're just like bouncing ideas off each other. I guess that's like one of the first times also like I actually want to try to learn this instead of just like cheat. I mean, not like cheat, as in like I feel like when I was in high school, like I took a lot of like really really hard math courses, so As in like they're normal math courses, but like the high school itself was hard. So I feel like there's like this tendency to like valuing efficiency over learning it, which is like whatever, right? So like you still do the homework yourself, but you're more likely to ask someone for help or to get the assignment done, right? And I feel like that class I actually enjoyed learning this stuff, so I actually try to like work through it as much as I could.
Do you remember doing the discovery problems?
Yeah, those were fucking hard.
Dude.
Who's your professor? Are you online or?
No, well, I mean, I could go online, I guess, but it's Omar. You remember?
Omar, is that new?
I don't think he's new. He's like it's like the accelerated lecture, but it's not really.
It's not Bodwin anymore. Greg Bodwin.
What?
You know Greg Bodwin? Is he still
He
teaching?
might. Oh yeah. I think he's still teaching.
Okay, yeah, because I had him last semester. He's also on the podcast.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. How long ago was that?
When we filmed?
Yeah.
It was last term sometime. I think it was episode 64. It was episode 64.
Interesting, bro.
Yeah. I don't know why I remember these random episodes, bro.
So you just like asked them one day, like, hey, do you want to be on?
Yeah,
my
I
podcast?
asked them. I try to get some like professional people on too. I feel like it'd be good for views and stuff. So.
That's really cool.
Yeah. We talk about a lot of comp sci stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you like talking about comp sci stuff? I know you're majoring in it, but like, I don't know. Do you think like you really enjoy what you do with it?
I feel like I didn't until recently. I think growing up, it's easy to associate it with like, you know, you think of the typical comp sci guy, you think about like the skinny neck, nerdy, smelly, you know, this kind of guy. So it's always like that's the stereotypes associated in my head, and I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to be like that.
Yeah, no.
It's not me. So I always like because of that, I never really like was on the same page as it, but I kind of was also like lost, not knowing what I want to do for a lot of times. So I kind of just ended up rolling with it, and now I really enjoy it. So
that's good.
I'm like more like I'm happy to say I enjoy it now without associating myself with that category because I met a lot of more cool people also in it too. So I'm happy with it.
Yeah, CS has always been like on my radar, like especially in high school. I feel like it was something my dad brought up to me one time and was like mainly for the reason of like everybody's hiring, which obviously isn't necessarily the same anymore. And in fact, a lot of people would say it's like very oversaturated. But like I was actually very much considering studying CS for a time, but I ultimately decided against it just because like I knew going in that I wasn't interested in it for the right reason. And I'm definitely glad that I ended up doing electrical engineering because I can definitely see myself enjoying working in that kind of field.
It's more physical, right? Like circuits.
A little bit, yeah, for sure. I'm just interested in hardware in general. Like software interests me to an extent, but like I'm definitely more interested in hardware. And but yeah, anyways, where I was going with that is like now actually I think I still much prefer electrical engiengineering.
That's good,
but I'm also like I also appreciate coding a lot more. I think like I find it really interesting what you could do like if you get good at coding. Like I don't know, like 280 the Euchre project.
There's two tonight.
Have you finished it?
Yeah, we finished.
Okay, nice.
It's actually like 14 minutes from now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we finished. We're good.
Yeah, but like just the fact that you can get to a point of like coding things like that, like I think that's really cool. And obviously further down the line, there's even cooler things. So like, I think I've grown to appreciate that a lot more. So like what I think I'm gonna do now is like mainly do electrical engineering classes, but also code as much as possible alongside that. And I don't know, maybe potentially do something more like computer engineering related or like
cool, yeah.
CS minor or something like that. But yeah, I think it's really cool. So.
That's cool, man. Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like I've been the opposite way because I've never like liked hardware too much. Like I thought I would, but it gives me a headache, dude. It's like so many small pieces, like working with my hands and stuff. Like it's like those circuits and stuff. Like
I understand.
And also like you go on like those LTM softwares and shit. That gives me a fucking headache, bro. I can't do that shit. Software, I feel like it's always made sense to me. Like it clicks. So.
Yeah. I
like
wouldn't even say I wouldn't even say like hardware necessarily clicks for me, but I just think it's really cool.
Yeah,
like
that's all you really need.
I'm willing to go through the pain for it. So yeah.
Hell yeah, that's all we need, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the job market in the future? Because I've had so many conversations about this on the podcast. Like some people are like, we're all fucked. Some people are like, it's actually gonna open more software jobs. Like I don't know. Have you ever thought about it? Or
it's like I'm definitely worried about it. Like, well, I don't know. I'm just the type of person that worries in general. So, like, I think I do it a little too much, but just when I think about it, like, I'm not sure how easy it'll be to get a job in the future. Like, obviously we go to a great school academically, but like, and I thought in high school that would be enough, but like, I feel like the more I'm here, the more I'm realizing like it's not enough.
That's the illusion, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Just like when you're in a school like this, you're kind of surrounded by people who are just like amazing at what they do, and it's like, I don't know how to compete sometimes. Like, obviously I'm smart. Like, I got into the school, so I'm like pretty smart, but like, there are just some crazy people out there who are like really good at what they do, and it's like, I don't know. So
yeah,
like, I don't think it'll be difficult to get a job, but like, it might be more difficult to get a job doing like what I really want to do, you know?
Do you have clarity on what that is, or?
Not completely, but like, I would say I'm interested in like, I don't know, I could do like tech, automotive, like aerospace. I think like automotive and aerospace are like my top choices, but
That's really cool.
there's definitely like room for that to change. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't,
So
like,
more of like the hardware side of that?
yeah,
For electrical engineering area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
That's cool.
yeah. What about you? Do you know what you want to work on?
I like building shit. That's all I know.
So what does that even mean?
I don't know. So
That's like very vague, I feel like.
Yeah, it's vague, but I guess the way I boil it down is like, I enjoy working on projects. You know, I joined like a bunch of stuff in the beginning of the school year and kind of left them because I guess I like having control over my situation. Like, and that's something I realized. Like, whenever it's like something like I think I want to work on, I always like having control over it. And I enjoy working on projects, bringing people together, and like working on building something really cool. Right, so I know like bits and pieces of like how that can work. You know, like the podcast is a great example. And I started this like at the ground level, like just me working by myself, releasing one podcast a week in high school, sometimes 2 a week. You know, with the iPhone cam, we didn't have these cameras back then. We had iPhones, no mics, like shitty ass fucking setup, stack of books. Like, it was so shitty. Then I'd be on Premiere editing it, and then slowly seeing that build with time. I added my first team member like a year after I started, and then another person joined, and now it's like a lot better with the whole setup and everything.
Yeah,
So
that's nice.
happy to see it grow. I enjoy working on projects, having the control, bringing people together with the vision, and like building something. That's the first thing.
Okay.
Like, I feel like that can tie into entrepreneurship in a way. Like, I enjoy software a lot. I enjoy coding, and I feel like that's a great tool because that can be used to make anything, right? Like, I was telling you about the idea I have for like my software related project with the podcast. So I started thinking about that over spring break. So I started asking people around who'd be interested in working on that project. So I'm kind of putting a team together, and then hopefully by the end of the spring term, I have the planning stage done. So I kind of have all like the plans of like what the tech stack needs to be and like how we're going to develop this product. So that over the summer, all of us can kind of just team up and just grind it out and see how we can get done in 3 months, because I think everyone's free over the summer. So I enjoy working on projects like that. I could see myself working a job too, but I think down the road I would want to do my own thing if it works out, like some kind of project. It could be as simple as a fucking podcast, man, if this blows up or whatever.
Yeah, bro.
Or it could just be like some kind of entrepreneurship related thing, but just building something, making shit. That's what
I was going to say, based on what you were saying, that's kind of what came to my mind at first, and when you said it, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But like, you seem like you're the type of person that would be able to kind of like stick with a pretty big project over time, especially with like, obviously your podcast has been going on for a really long time. Do you feel like, I don't know, like if you want to be an entrepreneur, do you think you would want to work on things that are like that you can get done like within like, I don't know, like half a year or something like that? Like a little, I mean, obviously that's a decent amount of time, but like slightly smaller projects? Or do you think you would want to work on something that has like a very large scale kind of like impact?
That's a good question. I think the first stage of it is like deciding what I want to do with entrepreneurship. I think in some way I want it to be related to my interests, right? I think those interests could be like, I love conversations with people. That's kind of why I started this whole fucking thing. Like, they're just fun. Like, we don't know what we're going to talk about. We sit down, like 2 hours go by, we're just talking like about all this random shit.
Yeah.
And I guess like we were friends before. Like, we didn't really know each other too well. Yeah. But I feel like it's not until I actually sit down with someone for 2 hours to actually learn who you actually are as a person and all that we have in common. Yeah. So I feel like, again, like that's an interest of mine. Plus software is an interest of mine. Plus, you know, all this health related stuff, that's an interest of mine. So maybe some kind of entrepreneurship will probably be tied to one of those three, maybe. Like maybe it's like a project to like help some like, maybe to help like health related things. I don't know. It could be, I don't even know what that would be, right? Yeah, but the idea is like when I decide on that, you know, usually chunk it up into smaller batches so that like for example, with like the software project I was talking about, like we have like a idea for like the first thing you want to make. That thing might only take like 3 months to make, right? But I think the way these are designed is that they can always be taken, like after that's done and successful, then we can add to it, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess since they're like kind of smaller in a way, if I realize that that's like I didn't enjoy it that much, then I can kind of just batch it up and like put it to side like that and close it, or, you know, seal it, right?
Yeah.
I think that gives me the freedom to like kind of build on the things I want, like Lego pieces, I guess. But because I feel like when things stick, you'll know what you enjoyed and what you didn't. And I'm hoping that since I'm connecting them to things I love, like problems in the world I look at that are really important to me, I'm hoping that will allow me to stay motivated through it. But at the same time, like, I know that I kind of paint it like poetry. Like, I want to do all these things that I love doing, but I still do value having money. So at the end of the day, like, these are all like dreams I have, and I'll do my best to fulfill my dreams, even if it's just a hobby. But I don't mind working like a normal job for a period of time too, and kind of see how that goes. But in terms of your question, like, I think that there's definitely a way you can do it where you can do it in smaller batches, like maybe a 1-year project, a 2-year project, a 6-month project, a 3-month project, and then keep building on it. Because I feel like a lot of ideas can be built upon. You know?
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
Going back to like being an entrepreneur, does it ever scare you, like the idea of like does it ever scare you that you'll have to be like very creative to do that, like come up with your own ideas on like an actual idea that is plausible to like spend a bunch of time working on? Because that's something with me, like I think it'd be really cool to be an entrepreneur and, you know, make your own ideas, but my worry is like I'm not sure I'm that type of person that has the creativity to come up with an idea that's able to like, I don't know, like work for a lot of people and, you know, actually help, I guess. Does that ever like worry you, I guess?
It's a great question, yeah. I think that everyone has a different skill suit. It's just about finding out what yours is, you know, because creativity is very important, right, for being an entrepreneur. Right. I guess, like, you need to come up with ideas that, like, people have thought about before, right? So that's definitely a component of it, but I don't think if you don't have it, you're fucked, because I don't think of myself as a particularly creative person, right? I think that it's almost like we're playing this video game and there's, like, the home screen, you could choose your character.
Yeah.
Right. Every character has like a different power, like the fire power, the water power, and it's really about like figuring out what's your power, you know, because, you know, I'm not the creative type. I'm really not, but I guess there's other skills I might have, and it's finding out everyone has something, right? I guess for me, that's more like the drive to. I guess my skill is just the drive. Like, I know that I'll work really hard towards something if I care about it. So I'm just relying on that, you know. Yeah. And I think that if you have that, you can kind of break through the other problems, like. Sure, my creativity might not be as strong, but since I have the drive, I can make up for it, you know? And I think that it shouldn't stress. I feel like, for me, I think about it, like, I don't let it stress me out too much, because, you know, you're played a deck of cards, a hand of cards, right, at life, and you kind of got to play the cards you're dealt, you know, and kind of work with that. So I just feel like I've been given a lot of cards, maybe that there's not all the perfect ones, and I feel like no one's perfect. Like, a really creative person cannot have the discipline to do it, you know? I feel like you need at least a little bit of everything, but know what your strength is and just like fall back on it as much as possible. And I'm sure you have plenty if you're really good digging. So
yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. Like, sometimes you kind of just gotta find it for sure. But do you have any like ideas relating to like health or any of your interests? Like, you don't have to say obviously, because like, you know, maybe you want to actually use them and you don't want anybody to steal them. But like, do you have any?
I don't know if
I
haven't thought about the health related stuff yet. I guess. As ideas come to me, I just start working on them. So the first real entrepreneurship idea was the podcast, even though it's not really like, I guess it's making an impact, because I guess people can watch this and help them improve their lives, I guess. Yeah. But really the goal was just for me to connect with people, and it's insane because, I mean, I feel like this experience has happened so many times where like I'll sit with someone that it's been like more of an acquaintance, and I'll learn how much we have in common. Like, I feel like today was really interesting, that how much we have in common.
Yeah, for
and,
sure.
Like, we've said what's up to each other a couple times in the gym, and then now is right. And like now it's like it's a lot deeper than that now, you know. Yeah. But I feel like they've seen a lot. I think that's what I love about it, right? So I guess that, and I feel like I'm hoping people watching can also be inspired by that too. I guess the podcast opened my eyes to like how similar I am to people around the world. I guess I didn't think that before. Yeah. And I think everyone is connected in ways if they just like force themselves to talk to each other.
Yeah, that's like a really good point you make, because I was actually thinking about it, like. People definitely don't do it enough where they kind of just like sit down and talk with each other about like some deeper topics, you know, like I don't know, like I have a lot of friends, but like even some of them, like I feel like I don't really know like on a super deep level, and I feel like talks like these are really important to, help in that area and just good to have in general,
I think they show you a lot about how the world is. Because,
Mhm.
I mean, this is 2 hours and 4 minutes, right?
Mhm.
You've literally just been talking straight with, like, no phones.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that before?
Dude, I don't know. If I have, it's been a minute. I know, like, when I was pledging at my fraternity, we needed to do, like, these interviews that were an hour and a half long. So, like, I've gone close to it. But, like,
what was this interviews like?
A lot of it is just, like, there's a combination of, like, more of a personal chat. But I think the main idea that they give them is, like, it's an opportunity for you to ask questions, like, professionally, I guess. And then, like, as a side result of that, you also kind of end up getting to know the brother a little bit more and hopefully getting a little bit closer to them. Like, what would happen with a lot of my talks is, like, I would be asking a lot of questions about, their experiences professionally. But a lot of the times the conversations would, like, veer off into more personal topics.
If it's an hour and a half, I'm sure.
Yeah, and that part of it is definitely my favorite part of it, is just, like, getting to talk to someone on a more personal level and just learning more about them, because I feel like that's definitely not done enough these days.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you're able to experience that, because that gives me hope, because that means a lot of people can have these kind of conversations. Because I think that an hour and a half is perfect, because I think the key is not about, like, is the conversation, like, deep or not, is it, like, formal or not. I think the length is the most important thing, because with time, if it's, like, supposed to be, like, a formal interview, like, you asking questions and stuff, if it's an hour and a half, it's not going to be a formal interview the whole time. It's not. And after time, like, it kind of takes some time, like, a little bit of small talk to get into the deep stuff. Like, we'll ask him how was break, all these, like, random questions. But, like, you're kind of digging, then you find something, and then you go deep, right? So I think any kind of long conversation, like, that's a perfect example. And I encourage more people to do it, man, because, like, it's fucking great. And I love doing this. And I think that it's such a good experience to just sit with someone for, like, an hour and a half and just talk,
Yeah. No, it's something that I've definitely started to do a lot more often. I mean, partly, I guess, because of my frat, but I would say, like, just with a few of the people that I've met here, like, 2 of the guys that I'll be living with next year, it's, like, sometimes it's so nice to just sit down for, like, an hour, 2 hours and just, like, talk, as opposed to, like, you don't always need to do something, and, like, I think that part of it's really nice. And that's also something that my mom has also really valued. And, like, I feel like now I really understand, like, what she means by that. And, like, because I'm starting to do it more often, I also enjoy doing it with her and the rest of my family more too. And so it's just a great way. It all, like, it builds off of each other, helps you bond with people. So,
it's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, Joey, thank you so much for coming down today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
We talk about so much cool shit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really happy to see that you're doing well in life. Care about your health. Great family back at home. Great visions for the future.
Yeah, you too,
excited
man.
to see how it develops. We'll run this back around too sometime next year, maybe, or whatever. We'll see how that's changed.
Yeah, I'd love to, man.
Let me get you a Sharpie. We'll have you sign the poster.
All right.
I think this is 91.
Let's do it.
Number 91.
90?
I forgot to turn the lights on.
Huh?
I forgot to turn my lights on. The lighting is going to be perfect for you. And I'm going to look. That'll still be fine. It won't be as sexy. Like, dude, this lighting, bro, it's going to make it look so good. It's like shines bright.
Oh, shoot, bro.
It's baseball.
Hey, man, I'm used to catching a ball.
Yeah, number 91.
Just, like, anywhere? Or?
Anywhere, bro. World is yours. It's mine, it's mine, it's mine. What album is this, Teo? Push the mics up.
This is Dexter Gordon, Biting the Apple.
Biting the Apple.
Wait, this next song is my favorite.
What year is this from?
76. Hold on.
So what we had today, what was the first album you played us? We listened to Led Zeppelin 2 while setting up, and then we went through your rap album from 90 something. Don't Sweat the Technique. Eric B. and Rakim.
Illmatic.
Then Illmatic by Nas, loved it.
And then
Dexter Gordon.
Then Paid in Full by the same guy.
Did I miss that? We went through a whole other album?
Yeah.
After Illmatic?
Yeah, that was after Illmatic.
Went through like 5 albums today. We end up with jazz. I always like ending with jazz.
This next song is fire.
What's it called? Yeah, turn that shit up.
Blue Bossa.
I listened to The Weeknd, by the way.
Which one?
I listened to Beauty Behind the Madness.
Oh,
It was good, but it wasn't my vibe.
wasn't your bag.
The Weeknd is in the artist.
Yeah. Because everyone's been talking about him, and he's been hyping him up a lot.
Weekend.
I respect him because like it's good music, but it's not my favorite. Blue Bossa.
Is a classic. Right?
Heck yeah. It's so calming, dude.
I love it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you realized when the jazz started playing, but I was immediately was like felt so good.
Mm-hmm.
I think Taylor enjoys being on the aux more than anything.
Yeah, I don't usually listen to like jazz just on my own, but I love listening to it when I'm like doing work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think working with Teo now has opened my eyes, like, that I could, like, explore all these genres. Like, in the gym, like, if I'm there for, like, 2 hours, I'll queue up, like, a bunch of albums. And I'll just, like, jump around from genre to genre. And that's, like,
Yeah.
what's fun about it.
Yeah.
But I'll put you on some rock. I'm just trying to think about
Yeah, please.
My favorite rock album was Nevermind by Nirvana, but it's too aggressive, so I don't think I'd recommend that one for you.
Okay. Maybe
Dark
I'll-
Side of the Moon's pretty good by
Say
Pink
that
Floyd.
again?
Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd.
Okay.
I think you would like it a lot.
Dark Side of the Moon.
You gotta listen to top to bottom, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the one you sent me?
Which one? That's Dookie?
Green Day.
That's pretty good too. It's not really aggressive, but it's really groovy. But I think Noe Joey, I'd probably recommend you Dark Side of the Moon first.
Okay.
Listen, that one's up there too. If you like it, I'll recommend you like it's probably my second favorite rock album of all time.
Okay.
Electric
Solid.
Ladyland. You know Electric Ladyland? Search it up real quick on Spotify. Jimi Hendrix. You don't have to play it, but you can just like show them the
You said
cover.
electric what?
Electric Ladyland. Honestly, listen to this one first. Sorry.
Okay.
Like Dark Side of the Moon is like the political choice, but like this is my favorite.
Okay.
Ladyland.
Lady? Oh.
Yeah. That one. Dude, this album, bro, absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Like, I feel like the end of the 60s, like 68, 69, and the start of the 90s, like 91, 92, 93, are the two best eras, bro. Like, the first 3 years of the 90s and the last 2 years of the 60s, bro. It's like so many hits, bro. Like, you have Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin killing it in the 60s.
Yeah.
And then beginning of 90s, you have just everyone from, like, Sublime to Nirvana to, what's it called? Tribe Called Quest. Just all the hits just came on these short spurts. Like, honestly, one of my favorite hip-hop albums and one of my favorite rock albums, we just found out on a podcast live that it came on the same day. In the same year.
Okay.
It was, like, insane. Like, 99, it was, like, August 24th, 1991. Both Nevermind by Nirvana and The Low End 30 by Tribe Called Quest right there.
Wow.
They both came out on the same fucking day.
Wow. That's crazy.
Oh, man. Let's call it a night. Thank you, Joy.
All right.